We're live.
We're live. What's going on, everybody? This is Ballin In Da Boot, week 2 edition, and we got a lot going on. Last time, thank y'all for bearing with us. We recorded. We actually had a lot of people watching it the next morning, so we would appreciate everybody that tuned to the first live. Well, I guess I'll say pre-recorded edition of Ballin In Da Boot. We will have a live edition as well coming up. As we have more and more people coming in, I'm going to just double check. This is the first time we're going live, so bear with us. Trying to see if I see we're live. So we're live on the Facebook page. So we're getting a couple people. I'm monitoring like 5 different things at one time, Alex. So yeah, we're gonna be bearing with me for a second. First we're going to start off. I know you didn't go to a game tonight, but we're going to be getting back on track with you next week. We're going to start off with somebody that did go to a game tonight. I'm going to bring in Roman Clark. He's making his Gridiron football on camera debut. So we're going to see how this goes. We're going to bring Roman on. Roman, I like it. I mean, and you took Andy's advice. You got the logo on the shirt and everything. You're ready to roll, man. So tell me about, kind of Gabby one first game that you went to. These are 2 Louisiana High School football powerhouses, Acadiana and Zachary. 2 of the biggest programs out there in the state of Louisiana. So tell us a little bit about
it. Yes, sir. It was a great game. It was really like a pass-heavy team versus a run-heavy team, and Zachary more so the passing side, and the Acadiana more so the running side. The Acadiana backfield was a little different to me because the coach has the running back and I believe the fullback both squatting before they hike the ball. That was a little different to me, but it was more so Zachary, Acadiana started off the game scoring with, I believe, an 88-yard run to the running back.
Okay.
It was number 2. I have my notes, but unfortunately they're on my phone. You have to bear with me a little bit. But Troy Kinnerson was the running back.
Yep.
Yes, sir. But so they started off the running game strong, but Zachary, it was a shootout in that first half, man. It was a shootout. The Zachary team had something for every response of the Acadiana run game with Michael Kirby and Ethan Kimmy, especially. Ethan Kimmy, I believe, he had 2 touchdowns on the day. Really just had an all-out performance for sure. And I believe it was tied at half, or no, it was 14-14. About a minute left in the third, and then Zachary has this crazy drive in a minute where it's 3 or 4 plays and they march down the field and go up 21-14, and I think that really gave them momentum going into the halftime. And it was crazy. It was like the game turned on its head after the half had passed. And it became a defensive game all of a sudden when the offenses were showing out in the first half, and then it was all defense in the second. I believe there were like 2 or 3 first downs in the whole third quarter because the teams were just getting stopped on 3 and outs and short drives and everything in between. And then in the fourth quarter, the Zachary defense really got alive with they started scoring the ball for the team. They had a safety from the punter because there was a really high hike and the punter couldn't quite get his hands on it and ended up in a safety. And then there was also a fumble and they got a scoop and score as well. So really just all out showing from Zachary. But
yeah, for sure. Like for Zachary to pull away like that, this is a Zachary team, Roman. There's a lot of other teams that are talked about. In that district, when we talk about a Catholic high, we talk about Central, but everybody's kind of sleeping on Zachary. It was like they haven't disappeared. The last time I checked, David Brewerton is still there roaming the sideline, so they always got a shot. And for them to be a really good Acadiana football team means a whole lot. Roman, what do you thought about the energy as far as Acadiana? As far as like the energy on the sidelines, how energized they were to play this game? Because remember what happened last week? They got steamrolled last week by Ruston. So what do you thought about the energy on Doug Dotson's sideline at Acadiana? What are your thoughts on how they played at least early on?
The Acadiana sideline was live. It was vibrant. It was honestly, although Zachary had more people, I think the Acadiana sideline was more live and they had more energy, especially in that first half for sure. When they came out scoring, I mean, it wasn't as nearly as many fans as Zachary, but you heard them all the same for sure.
Yeah. Was there anybody from Zachary that really stood out to you tonight?
It was that running back, number 2, that I had said earlier. Troy Kinnerson.
Oh, that's from Acadiana, Troy Kinnerson.
Sorry. You said from Zachary?
Yeah, from Zachary. Is there anybody that stood out to you tonight for the Broncos?
Oh, for sure. There were a few. The quarterback, Michael Kirby, he really had some great balls out there.
Okay.
I want to Dylan Shellmeyer on the defense, number 34.
Yeah. We know about Dylan Shellmeyer. He's a player profile card for us, and he's going to be playing their Gridiron Football Bowl game. So committed to play at Southeastern. So I expected that you would mention him. How did he play tonight?
Oh, he played great. He had 2 tackles for loss from what I seen. Probably more tackles that I didn't even notice that was him. But he was really, I mean, anywhere the ball was, he was.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we're basically going to we want all y'all questions, and we got a couple people tuning in live right now. So if you have any questions on scores or anything going around the state of Louisiana, please chime in. We want your feedback. I'm doing a lot of different things at one time, so bear with me. But if you have any questions or any comments, please like and share. We're going to be on here for quite a long time tonight. And if you happen to miss the stream, because I know it's pretty late at night, you can also, this will be uploaded for tomorrow. So before you get your college football fix, you can go and watch this stream here tonight. Roman, just any final thoughts on the Zachary win, and just what you basically the overall thoughts on how you thought the team played as a whole as they improve their record and they go to 2-0 to start the season.
I mean, Zachary, they really put on a show tonight for sure. Both sides of the team looked great. It's hard to really decide who won. So this is really just a great day for both sides. I think I would personally lean towards the defense because of how much scoring they provided. But excuse me, it was just a really great showing. I lost a little bit of your question there, but and then also on the sideline. Personally, this was new to me that the Zachary, or I believe both teams had like a replay tent or a tent where like the players would go to watch the replays of that. That was new to me coming from Texas.
Yeah, they don't have that in Texas, Roman?
We had the big stadiums and the vibrant crowds. I will say I think the Texas crowds were a little more vibrant, but definitely the review tent or replay tent was new for sure.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas except for the actual teams and stuff. I think the teams might be a little better down here, but no, it's great to hear about your own experience and all of that. Absolutely, man.
Sir, thank you very much. I think the teams are bigger in Texas, but to each his own.
Yeah, you got your first look. I mean, this is still early in the season. We'll see as we go through it each and every week. What do you think about the talent over here in Louisiana? For certain, you got a really good taste of it because these are two of the biggest like state championship contending programs year in, year out at the 5A level. We talk about Acadiana and we talk about Zachary. Roman, not too shabby, man, for your first appearance on the show. Good job, buddy, and looking forward to report next weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
All right, Roman Clark, one of our riders this fall for Gridiron football. So appreciate Roman coming on and looking for many of his reports all season long. So before we go into the scoreboard, I know we got a couple people tuning in live. So like you said, if you have any questions or any scores, feel free to chime in. We're going to try to get some coaches. I'm also trying to text some coaches. They would come on and talk about their wins. So we're going to see. We have a couple coaches. We're at least going to hear from one because I talked to Coach Standiford after LCA was able to get a 41-38 victory tonight. So we're going to talk about that as well over Karen Crow. So that'll be something we'll talk about. I did talk to him after the game, so we'll get his instant reaction. We'll try to see if we get a couple coaches coming on the show. But before we do that, Alex, have you got a chance to really look at any scores, or this is going to be basically your first reaction when we go through everything?
I saw a little bit of it. I didn't get a chance to dive super into it and have any real big takeaways, but I got a glancing view a little bit. The LCA Karen Crow game definitely stood out. We're talking about an LCA team that has been a traditional power for a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of state championship appearances, state championship wins, won Johnson years, all of that, of course. They had, calling it a down year last year is a little bit of a stretch. They still made the quarterfinals, still almost made the semifinals. But, they're one of those smaller school traditional powers that would schedule up in the early season. And they usually would be very competitive in those games. They'd be really good. They lost a lot of those games last year. They started off 1-4. So it was interesting to see LCA beat Rummel last week. Big deal.
Yeah.
Karen Crow beats STM, which was both of those were the reverse results of those games last season. So now this became the big game of the two because last year STM played Catholic at the same time, and in that game had a little bit more spice on it, I guess, at the time, just going into the game. Whereas this almost felt like second billing, quote unquote. This felt like a main event because both LCA and Karen Crow were coming off of huge wins. And so I'm super excited to hear about what sounded like an awesome game from just the brief description of what you said, as well as just the scoreboard of LCA coming out on top with some kind of walk-off almost with a big 41-38 victory. So, yeah, I'm excited to just start there, and it's been a very fun it already sounds like a really exciting start to the season and a great start for an LCA team that we're pretty familiar with over these last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to be I'll since it was such a big game, I do have a couple of highlights I'll show and download, but towards the end of the show and everything, as I'm downloading everything and doing the show as we put everything through. So while we're waiting, I'm just getting a couple of coaches to see they'll come on, but if not, I'll go through some scores. Alex, if you do see, I'm going to be on the scoreboard screen. I'll actually share that with everybody. If you see a coach come on, feel free to let me know, and we'll get a chance, and we'll pause for there. But since it took us a long time to get through a lot of these scores the last time around,
we'll try to be quicker. Yeah.
So it turns
out that game's still going on. I think.
Update. Yeah, actually, I'm following Jared right now. Louisiana versus all y'all, and the score is tied. And the card just tied the game up at 17. Brian Castellan made a game-tying field goal late in the game, and we're still going on. So there's going to be an overtime in the Superdome right now. So they start things early with the first game, U High against Rummel. They are still going on right now. The game is tied at 17, and we'll keep you updated as we go. We'll be here for the next 2 hours going through everything. So Haynesville able to defeat Harmony Grove, the Cardinals, by a final score of 42-14. Some bragging rights there. I mean, not too far. Haynesville is kind of like on that Louisiana-Arkansas border, right? So
yeah,
Haynesville able to pull away 42-14. Final score there for the Golden Tornadoes. Big win also for Jules Sumner. This is a team that we're really high on this year, especially after the season they had last year, making it to the quarterfinals. I think they're even going to be even better this year. They when Coach Courier brought his guys to our media day earlier this year. They returned both Jeremiah Brooks, Tramon Douglas at the running back position, a really good tandem right there. They're moving Eli Nealon, their 6'4" tight end, 2 quarterback. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic there with him under center. And Kentwood, how about the Kangaroos after a semifinal appearance last year? They're starting the season 0-2. Remember, they lost to East Louisiana last week, so an 0-2 start for the Kangaroos. Surprising to start the season.
Yeah, but, Jules Sumner, a slightly bigger team, really good team, really, really good team. And, they were a quarterfinal team themselves last year. I got a chance to be at that game, and that was an awesome game when they played Bunkie. They came very close to beating a very, very good Bunkie team with Kyle Johnson and Dylan Compton, all of that. But, yeah, I agree about Jules Sumner that this always a tough bracket. Talked about LCA already. Dunham's going to be back. Catholic Iberia won it last year. Calvary Baptist, Newman, all that. Tough bracket, but this is going to be a team that will be a contender near the end, because this feels like a peak year for Jules Sumner. That running back duo, especially Jamon Dyson, huge star. He missed out in that quarterfinal game. He missed that game. Could have been the difference in a very close game. So this feels like a team that very, very much could be put over the top with a lot of interesting moving parts that we've gotten a good chance to see already. So this is a big win for them. I see this more as like really good news for Jules Sumner than bad news for Kentwood, personally.
Yeah, and also they start the season with a loss against East Louisiana, which shows you how much improved they are. It's going to be intriguing to see how good that East Louisiana team is going to be. Of course, we'll probably go to score, but a big win because really Jules Sumner, they're not. Obviously Kentwood's really the first team you think about when you think about the Kentwood, right? Just a historic tradition. But what Coach is doing there at Jules Sumner is it's like, hey, don't forget about Jules Sumner, don't forget about the Cowboys, and they're going to be a team to be reckoned with this year. So again, the best there in that inner city rivalry right there. Iowa, building off the momentum from last week. Remember, we talked to Coach Johns last week, getting a big win over Jennings, and they backed it up. They got a little bragging rights with Little Cypress and Mauriceville. They actually played them last year, got a win last year, and so far the Yellow Jackets are looking really good to start the season at 2-0.
Yeah, representing Louisiana well, really good, really big win. To show the state, like I said, representing the state well. And yeah, it's an interstate game. So we don't get a lot of like insights within our own high school football process, but no, it's a really nice win starting off the season 2-0. Not much else to say about it. Dominant win.
Yeah, dominant. Bragging rights and two wins to start the season there. Western Row gets a win as well, 3-17 over Little Rock and Arkansas. So looks like some of these Louisiana teams going to try to test the waters a little bit outside the state, see what they do there. And you see the Rebels getting a big win, 31-17. The Coach Dodger era starting off pretty good there. So big win for West Monroe. If anybody has any, just basically any questions they want to score that we want to go over, just feel free to chime in. We want y'all to chime in and see what your thoughts are right there. Let's see. Tioga getting a big win over Leesville. Leesville also starting the season, a notable team that's starting off the season at 0-2, a 56-20 victory from Tioga. Coach Cook was talking about in his media day appearance with us earlier this year that this is going to be a team that's going to score a lot of points, and it's going to make it fun to watch. It's going to make it interesting to watch, and you see right there putting 56 points on the board against the Leesville Wampus Cats.
Yeah, the sort of team that can have some really interesting games. They play in a district with Franklin Parish, so that would be the most interesting game they're going to have on their district slates. And Franklin Parish is a team that plays a lot of physical football, especially. So getting a chance to see that kind of what might be a bit of a clash of styles, if Tioga's offense leans into the more high flying sort, but yeah, it's a very high scoring offense that'll make for exciting games, and that's a lot of fun for a team that had a struggled a little bit more last season, to see them come into more of a team that will probably watch a little bit more throughout the season. Thrashing Leesville will do that. Leesville was a semifinals team last year. They're missing Xavier Ford, of course. And so that obviously weighs on you when you're talking about, we'll see what Leesville ends up being this year. They've started out 0-2, but great start for Tioga. And they're showing what that offense can do.
Yeah, trying to move on from that Xavier Ford era, right? I mean, you lean a whole lot on Xavier Ford, and he was your identity. So you're trying to make adjustments to it. And another team we're going to talk about is Vermilion Catholic later in the show, trying to adjust their identity offensively, because it was 2 words last year, Jonathan D'Artes. That was their offensive identity last year. So trying to adjust to that is going to be interesting to see moving forward for both those teams. So let's see. Lakeshore getting a big win for Coach Indes and company with a 27-12 victory over Chalmette. We have Caldwell Parish 21-12 over Winfield. Roman just came on the show to talk about Zachary, one of the most notable matchups in terms of brands are concerned. Zachary able to get a 30-14 win over Acadiana. How about Acadiana starting off the season 0-2?
Opelousas Catholic over East Beauregard. No, you're fine. Opelousas Catholic taking care of business against East Beauregard. I can't scroll the thing, but I
gotcha.
No, there's not too much to talk about with that. Houma Christian, I got a chance to talk to their coach in the summer. That's still a young program that's building. Frederick Douglass, I think, was a fairly high seed last season.
Right.
In like 1 and whatever it is, Division 4 select, the 1A select bracket. So,
right.
Tough start for Houma Christian, but it seems like Frederick Douglass is keeping up where they left off. A potential for another successful season, another successful start for them. Not a whole lot to read into for that result, unfortunately, on either end.
Okay, Alex, I have a score update. So Endicott scored in the first overtime. So they're up 24-17. If the Cougars get a stop here against American Hares, they will win the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex, how about a great way to start off with their first coach? He's coming on, and it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. They're coming off a pretty big win as well. And how about, hey, I got to pound my chest when I really like my alma mater. I mean, I always support teams throughout the area, no matter what. I just want some great competition on the field. But anytime that my Bears get a big victory on Friday night, I'm bringing somebody on. And after a big talked to Coach Ford last week, and he felt bad about not being on the show last week after a big win against Destrehan. So I think Coach is going to make it up to us this week. We're trying to bring Coach Hudson Fuller on. Coach, can you hear us?
Yep, I got you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Coach. I can hear you. So great win, by the way, tonight against a really good St. Thomas More team. What's up next, Coach? I got the Chicago Bears coming up with the schedule. I mean, Destrehan first, St. Thomas More again, go 2-0 against those two teams, Coach. That's no slouch. And talk about, you actually, I believe, had to come from behind and get this win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was a tight ball game from beginning to end. A lot of times the game got tied up or lead changes. And just proud of our team and our coaches for just battling through it and finding a way. A lot of little things that we're going to want to correct, but at the end of the day, proud of our guys for finding a way.
And I believe it was Taylor Goldsmith got the game-winning stealing interception. Again, I mean, really still the deal. I know St. Thomas More was trying to drive the football. Coach, just kind of give me through kind of like just the in and outs of the ebbs and flows of how this game really transpired. Because when you play a great team like St. Thomas More, you know there's going to be those ebbs and flows throughout the game.
Yeah. I mean, number one, they did a great job of executing tonight, especially in their passing game on offense. They've got a talented quarterback, and he did a great job tonight. And they always have a great plan as a staff. So they did some things in the passing game that hurt us tonight. But through all the lead changes, I think one of the biggest plays was a field goal attempt on their side that would have put them up as the game was tied. We ended up being able to affect that kick and it didn't get off. It got the snap kind of got bobbled, and we were there to shut the kick down, and that ended up being a huge play in the game. We went down and scored a touchdown that ended up being the one to really put us in the lead. And then the interception that you mentioned by Taylor Goldsmith,
yeah.
And then there's still a lot of time on the clock at that point. There's probably right under maybe 3 minutes. They had all 3 timeouts, and so great job by our offense being able to put together a drive that really ended the game.
And, big time players make big time plays in big games. And I've heard that both your stars, your big recruits, Blaine Bradford came up with a couple big turnovers and fourth down stops. Jaden Miles, had a lot of big time plays offensively. So was it like, obviously one's a senior, the other one is still underclassman, still kind of going through the stages of having all the eyes on him. So it wasn't mean to have guys like that really set the tone for the rest of the team. When they're making big plays, I'm sure it just generates a lot of confidence in the rest of the team.
Yeah, both of those guys they've got their own talents and skills, but at the end of the day, they're just competitors. They when it's time to make a play, they step up, and they've just got a will to win that really affects our team in a great way.
Alex, do you have any questions for winning Catholic High head football coach Hudson Fuller, coach guest tonight?
Yeah, Coach. First off, it's great meeting you. For chance to get to talk to you, Coach Fuller. Obviously, you've been leading a successful program at Catholic High, and another really big win here in a tight game that Catholic always seems to be able to compete in and win a lot of these really close games against elite competition. You talked about the field goal block and how big of a swing that was in the game. What do you do with your kids, your players, to keep them cool and not stressed out in those big high leverage moments so that they can come through and secure those big important victories?
Yeah, it really all comes down to the preparation. For us, we want our practices to be, from winter workouts to spring football to summer 7-on-7 to fall camp preparation. We want to put that stress and pressure on the players in practice so that when they go to play in the game, it's not something different. And so, for us, kind of that practice environment and expectation, I think in those moments helps them to perform really well, in times when the game's on the line.
Coach, I only have 2 more questions, and I'm pretty much done. And unless Alex also has something else that he wants to ask too. Talk about your quarterback as well, Baylor Graves, just going through another season, right? He was the guy that had most of the reps last year. And see, how much has he, and you're an offensive guy, you're a quarterback guy, Coach. So how much has he grown with just another year in the system?
Yeah, I think his decision making, his arm strength, his confidence, all those things have really come to a new level this year, and he did a great job tonight, kind of just stepping in and stepping up. And at the end of the day, quarterback at Catholic High is like running a machine. You know, you got to just keep it going, keep the parts moving well, keep the communication going, and he did a great job of that tonight.
Speaking of Catholic quarterbacks, give a shout out to Daniel. I know he got a first start the other weekend, so as a freshman already, so you must be really proud, Daniel.
Yeah. Watched that whole game, him playing against Southeastern against McNeese, and I don't know that I've ever watched a game like a fan in that way before. Just really wanting him to have success, and great to see him doing it.
Alex, final question. So before we move on to another coach coming up.
I'm good.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the victory. I know it's not always easy when you play against Destrehan and St. Thomas More at the start of the season and get the win moved to 2-0. Y'all have is it U-High next week? Yep. So I'm sure y'all have the 24-hour rule. I know y'all should want to enjoy this one and move ahead. And I know that's going to be always a great intercity rivalry. Coach, I appreciate your time and thank you so much for spending a couple minutes on your tires a long Friday. So I really appreciate you, Coach, for chiming in and talking with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay.
Absolutely. Coach Hudson Fuller, winning Catholic High head football coach as the Catholic High Bears move to 2-0 at the start of the season. Alex, we're going to go right into another coach coming up, and he just gets his first win as the head coach. Tramon Douglas, TD, off the Ron LeJeune coaching tree. So so he gets the first win, the head coach at Woodlawn. Coach TD, congratulations on a big win tonight.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. So against Walker, it was it 20-17? Was that the final score here tonight?
Yeah, it was 20-17.
Okay, Coach. So just kind of walk us through tonight and how y'all were able to get the win.
I mean, Walker came out. That's a real good team. Coach Mahaffey got over there. They came out and their first half they was playing lights out football. We was doing some uncharacteristic things by turning the ball over. We had 2 fumbles in the second quarter, I think, and then on our punt team we had a kind of a fumble and two bad snaps that kind of put us in bad situations. But our defense, out of those 4 possessions, held them down to 10 points, and those guys just kept fighting and holding us in there until we started to get some stuff moving on offense second half. You know, I give all credit to defense and what they was doing to keep us in the game.
Yeah, and speaking of defense, when you got those guys on the edges in Cedric, and obviously you have the Baylor commit as well on the other side, it is pretty tough to try to block those two. And I guess he was back. I know you mentioned the high game, but did he play tonight?
Yeah, well, tonight we was full force. Not only Tyrone was out, but we had RJ Rashard Ricard Fleming. He was out too.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So now, you talking about 3 caliber D1 level players on the D line. We finally got them full force to go to a game, and it looked different out there. So when you got those guys out, man, it's hunting season when they on the field.
Yeah, I know you're an offensive guy, Coach, but I mean, have you ever been around the defensive line like Tyrone, Cedric, and RJ? Coming in from IMG Academy, was at Calvin beforehand, but I'm sure you're kind of looking at the chops to really get all 3 of those guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, when you have something like that on your team, man, you're always excited to see those guys play and let them go at it. Because if you can't just double team all of them, so all of them get to eat at some point of the game. And I think at different stages of the game, they all played a different level, but they kept us in that game till we can figure it out on offense. And not only the D-line, but you had Caden Randall coming out there making big plays, a lot of tackle out there at safety / nickelback. Our corners held it down. Jalen Knox and Jordan Knox, twins, they was playing on the corners along with Alonzo Luckett. But that whole defense, man, they came to play.
And Caden, I mean, I was there at the U High game, coach, and y'all have also kind of been doing what, like, hey, let's get Caden the ball a little bit on offense. Y'all have a little bit of a wildcat package with him. I know he's not like his dad. He's not like Marcus. He's not like a we call pretty boy quarterback or anything. He's going to lay the wood and play some defense. So tell me what it's like to be around a guy like Caden and just him taking that kind of route, not really following his dad's footsteps as a quarterback.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, Caden is just an athlete, man. He's a D1 player in every position on the field, man. On defense, he's gonna be dominant, and on offense, he's gonna be dominant. So a guy like that did to come to offense, we just have to find a way to get balls in his hand. And we was down 10-6, and then he just kind of took over a little bit, scored 2 touchdowns to put us, put 20 points on. Amar Price, our quarterback, had went down in the fourth quarter, and Caden stepped up. Caden Randall stepped up and took it at quarterback like 30, 40 yards to the house to score the touchdown to give us a two possession lead.
Wow. Okay, I mean, I know Dad must be pretty proud as well, because I know Marcus is the OC there. Alex, do you have any questions for Coach TD?
Yeah, Coach. Congratulations on your first win. Obviously, that's as head coach of the team. Obviously, that's really exciting. What are you going to try to use this to grow for the team as you continue in this really tough schedule with in kind of this land of the giants in 5A and in your district, and you keep having difficult opponents. You play Denham Springs next week. What are you looking to build off of from this win to continue improving and maybe start building some momentum throughout the season?
Well, the main thing I'm trying to prove is we can do anything together. If we play for one another and we fight for each other, we can do anything together. So that's what we're trying to prove, man. I keep telling our team, it's not about who we play. It's about us. It's Woodlawn versus Woodlawn. So if we come out and we fight for each other and we play Woodlawn football and do the things we need to do, we can go out there and win any game.
And what's been that dynamic like, Coach? We talked about it just a couple years ago when Ricky was the quarterback. You were the OC, and Marcus was the head coach, and now you're the head coach, and Marcus is the OC. So talk about that interesting dynamic with each other.
Well, me and Coach Randall, we got the same style of offensive philosophy. We've been running our offense together for a long time. So the one thing about us, we don't care about titles. We care about results. So at the end of the day, we trying to put plans together to get W. That's how it's always been with us. We don't care who the head coach is, who the OC is. We playing together. We bounce stuff off each other, and man, it just works great because when pride is aside and the kids and winning come first, it's just like we both still head coaches / OCs.
Absolutely, Coach. I know the snaps were an issue. I mean, really, I thought y'all played right there with U High. I mean, especially in the first couple of quarters, and I mean, y'all make some big plays. I know the snaps were an issue. So, how was that cleaned up? Was that a lot more consistent tonight with the snaps?
And that's one thing as the offense we saw. The fans might not see it because of the score. We saw we putting up yardage and numbers, but the only thing that stopped us the first half was us. And we've been preaching that all summer. The snaps was kind of killing us right there, and it hurt us going down, getting inside their 30 3 times in the first half, and either 2 snaps over our head or the quarterback just dropping back about to throw the ball, and his ball just falls out his hand. It's just like we wasn't ready to win yet, and we learned from that, man, and we just fixed those snaps. We knew we could play with those guys, even though we had 3 defensive starters out. We knew we could score with those guys, but it just didn't work out that way, But came back this week, had a little bit of adversity again. This time it wasn't snaps. This time it was fumbles. So offensively, we just got to clean up. We hadn't played our best football in this early in the season, and I don't expect us to, but we got to clean up the mistakes that we're making, because to be a championship ball club, we can't have turnovers and bad snaps.
Yeah, Coach, you make a really interesting point that I think it's, I know it's easy for fans, and this is what we do every week, where if we're not at a game, we only can see the score, right, the final score, and so you can only make inferences off that. But people that are actually at a game, you get a better idea of the competitive character of the team, and so it's really optimistic to hear that, like, you just see a score on the scoreboard or whatever, but the competitive character of the team tells you something different than that. And so it's great to hear a little bit more about the actual story of what happened in that UI game, and that, you guys were able to still make plays and all of that. So
the kids know that they know what it was. They know we did a lot to ourselves that hurt ourselves. And they understand that part. But at the same time, a win is a win, is a loss is a loss. It don't matter how many mistakes you made or what. And I always tell them, there's no coulda, shoulda, woulda in this game. You either did or you didn't. So we didn't do it. You high won. They beat us. They was better on that day. But we had to go to the drawing board and look at ourselves in the mirror, and we had to fix us. Only thing stopping us was us. So that's where we at with our program right now. We got a lot of talent, but talent don't win football games. Discipline, great character, and being consistent all the time. That's what's going to win football games. So that's what we've been preaching all week. We got to fix us. And we fix us, everything else will take care of itself.
Absolutely, Coach. Moving forward, this district, I know everybody talks about the top heavy, the three teams. Obviously the coach that I'm sure you're tuning in to listen to what Coach Fuller had to say, because y'all will be playing them a couple weeks. But basically, this team, this district, right? We talk about Catholic and Zachary, but don't sleep on. Obviously Central, but Liberty with Coach Zachary as well. With Coach Zachary being at Liberty and them getting the win over Southern Lab, this district's a lot deeper than a lot of people think it is.
Well, yeah, and I'm speaking on my boy Jimmy Zachary. We played at Grambling together, so I know he'll win. I know what he's gonna bring to the table. I know what he's gonna do to turn that program around. This some of the best football in the state of Louisiana. Of course, we got the state champions in our district, but we also got some people that's coming. I think I root for everybody in our district to win football games. I'm gonna be honest. That helps with our power points. I want everybody to go outside the district, win these games, because I know when we get in district, I feel like it's an even playing field, but it's a heavyweight fight every time. I think everybody got a chance to beat everybody, but you got to bring it. It's championship football. Our playoffs start once we get to district. So we're not looking down the road for that, but we know what's coming down there. But we got to handle our business before we get there to give us a chance to put ourselves in position to win district and get a great seed in the playoffs so we can go make a run. But, my thing right now is, before we get to that, we got another heavyweight coming. Denver Springs, they had a good start last week. So I know that's a good ball club right there, man. And they just gave Central a run for their money. So, it ain't never easy.
Yeah, talking to Coach Beard, 40 seniors. That's ridiculous that they have that many seniors on one football team. And it shows you and pushing Central to the brink. It's tough. Coach Meyer just got his first win at West Louisiana tonight. St. Marville defeat the defending state champs last week in Cecilia. So it's going to even be tough before getting to the district play. So Coach, I know y'all want to enjoy this win. Congratulations on the win, Coach. And I know y'all got that 24-hour rule. Y'all going to enjoy this and move on to the next one.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go get some sleep. Then I got to wake up in the morning, and my son Ezra got a Little League game, so, it'll never stop. So, yeah, we're going to enjoy it. But then when we wake up tomorrow, it's on to Denver Springs.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, go, Coach, get yourself some rest. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes and speaking with us about the Panthers getting a win tonight. Congratulations on the victory, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it, Jace. Appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. Tramon Douglas, head coach at Woodlawn, gets his first win as the head coach of the Woodlawn Panthers. Congratulations, 20-17 over the Walker Wildcats. So we have back-to-back Baton Rouge area coaches coming on the show, and obviously we'll get the interview with Coach Standiford. So we'll get at least another coach's perspective on the show tonight. But it did go final, and the card did win and beat American Heritage 24-17 in the Dome in overtime. A late night. We were talking at 12:20. I think it was around when Coach Ford was talking that the game went final. So 24-17. If you talk about, I mean, football powerhouse states. I mean, Louisiana and Florida, and these are two of the probably the most premier teams in each state. For Edna Carr to go and get a win against American Heritage, they were down for most of the game too. It seemed like they were a step behind in that football game. But I tell you this, man, Bryce Brown and Edna Carr, they never panic. No matter. I saw them being down against Warren Easton by like 3 touchdowns and just no panic. Like, just on to the next play. I mean, it's crazy that Bryce does have that kind of Nick Saban type of mentality, as a head football coach. And you see, I mean, what a statement for Edna Carr to get a win over American Heritage.
Yeah. I mean, it's a state-on-state powerhouse Superdome game. Jarrett Roser had the seat that we all wanted this weekend in that game in the Superdome.
Hey, shout out to Zach, photographer. Yeah, Zach's a photographer. I had to talk to Coach Howard, the AD, in the car like all week just for him to get in. So Zach, you owe me one, man. So but he was there to enjoy the action. I hope we got some great shots from that, and we'll probably post on our website. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alex.
No, you're good, and you're right. Getting that chance to get some coverage of the game, absolutely. That was the place to be. Edna Carr, it's a treat to see this team in this form, this 2024-2025 form that they're in right now, and that's not to like speak low of any of their other versions of that team, but I don't know. There just feels like something very special about last year's team and this year's team. Because last year's team is one of the best state championship winning teams. To be fair, I don't have the experience to say this, but this was something that you communicated a lot last year, that one of the best teams you've seen in Louisiana high school football over the years that you've covered the sport. And this year's team doesn't seem like it's any worse. I mean, it's hard to be better than it was last year, but they don't seem like they've taken much of a step back. Of course, senior quarterback John Johnson. You've got Richard Anderson, the LSU committed defensive tackle, unstoppable. And so, I can't speak a lot about Florida high school football, but you're playing in the car in the Superdome. You're one of the teams. There's a reason why you're doing that, right? So we're talking about likely a premier program, American Heritage in Florida. And so, and also if you're beating Edna Carr in the fourth quarter, probably a premier team. But yeah, no panic. And that's what those special teams, like really good programs, really well-coached teams, you drew the Nick Saban comparison for a reason. Also think about those like 2010s Patriots teams is another good example. Teams that just don't have any panic. It doesn't matter what the situation is in the game. You don't get too high and you don't get too low. It's just business, play. Oh, this isn't going well. Okay, we're gonna make the adjustment. It'll be fine. And when you're elite, that is a really good like indicator of that, in my opinion. And Edna Carr is at that level, at that tier.
Yeah, they certainly are. They got the stop. Like I'm looking back and looking at Jarrett's highlight. They got the stop like at the 2-yard line too. Yeah, it was insane. It was a exact type of like finish you would expect with these two teams. So it was definitely a great one. And we're going to talk about the other game, the one that preceded this one, as well as we go through the scoreboard. Coach Pierce is on as well, and we're going to talk about a big victory for Coach Pierce out Breaux Bridge over the defending state champions of Vermilion Catholic. No matter what level you're at, anytime you can be a state championship program says a whole lot. So we're going to bring on Coach Pierce to the show. Coach, congratulations on the victory. I know that was a big one over Vermilion Catholic.
Yes, sir. And exciting game. We definitely the cardiac cats tonight.
Yeah. I think you're okay. Have you checked your heart rate at all, Coach?
The nurse left, so we're all good. Some blood pressure pills. She just left in the coach's office, and we're all good.
Absolutely. So Coach, guide us through this game
Well,
against
you
Vermilion
know,
Catholic. Obviously, yeah.
yeah, and y'all, you just said it too. You know what Coach Prejean, and like we even talked about it after the office, and to beat VC. I mean, it's not a 4A 1A or a 4A 2A. I mean, those guys they are good. They play hard. They play into the end. You're going to get the best of them, and I think they've only lost about 4 or 5 games. I think in the past few years, and for us, it was just really trying to battle test to see where we are, and really we were stressing the little things. Last week, the film was ugly because the little things kind of really didn't fall into line, and we still have a lot of work to do. But aggression was kind of the key today. We went for it on fourth downs constantly. We did a swing and gate play. We went for two, of course, for the win, and we did onside kicks twice. One for two out of two on those, and really it's just pedal to the metal and keeping kind of applying the pressure. But if for the kids, I mean, let's be real. If it's another
Mhm.
kickoff, if it's thing to bring energy, you just got to do the call that it might it might not just be it's the time to call it. That's what the kids want to do. It's just more fun, and but it was huge for us, and we were so proud of the kids because look, I mean, it was grim whenever VC went up by 2 touchdowns. Basically, we're thinking to ourselves, "Oh Lord, what are we gonna do?" And then before you know it, we score. We get an onside kick. We score. Yeah, 5 minutes left in the game, and then we go for two. We knew that our guys were tired, they were tired, but felt confident with the play. I think we have been talking about it on the headsets before we even scored the first one, if and when type situations. And to sit there and it's 28-27 with 34 seconds left. I mean, talk about tables being turned, which is it's so much about our team and the group that we have this year.
Yeah, definitely, Coach. That was well said. And like you mentioned, it's never over till it's over. For y'all to get down by 2 scores, keep on fighting, find a way to win that football game. Really shows a lot of resolve from your guys, especially after a tough loss in week one and
Oh, yeah.
against Natchitoches Central. I know we're not going to talk much
Yeah.
about that
Hey,
at
the
all.
24-hour rule
But
was in effect, and I don't even know if it was 24. It was more when we got off the bus back from Natchitoches. It was all right. The deep tissue massage of the film, and but that's what was so nice about tonight is, and I told him the number one thing in the huddle before they left and broke and everything was, we have to win tomorrow, and which means be at film, with these details. Look, we had it. Negative Central, we go 3 and out. They score. We're on the 1 inch line, and then we don't plug it in last week. This week, there's 2 times we're at the basically going in to score. We fumble it on the 1 yard line, and it's just it's shooting yourself in the foot type things that the way society is nowadays, and what we're so proud of the kids though is, adversity is tough for a lot of teams, and so for us, it really just kind of showed just the mental strength that we need to kind of take us to the rest of this brutal schedule that we have. Because look, there's not anybody that we can say we can take lightly, and but just a great win for the not just for the kids, but for the community. It was much, 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 much needed.
so, Coach, somebody's in the live stream, and I think you have a good idea who it is. But Madeline wants
Oh
to say it's getting
Lord.
late, Coach.
Oh well,
It's
she's
getting
always up
late.
in
It's
my
not the office,
yeah, she's always in my business. So at least she knows I'm in the office and I'm not in a bar stool. I'm not gonna say I would rather be on that bar stool celebrating, but like small victories for tonight. Yeah, here I am. I'm not at Buffalo Wild Wings. I promise.
There you go. There you go. Working late tonight, getting a win.
Yes.
And Coach, we invite Isaiah LeBlanc to our bowl game. He's a special player. He's got an offer, a couple offers as well.
Yes.
Tell me about him and being one of these key guys that's really set the tone and has really been a really big leader for you, especially the growth y'all showed from week 1 to week 2.
Absolutely, and for him though, he's just a weapon. Look, we lined him up in the backfield. He's receiver. Kick returners. He played free safety tonight. Probably coach put him at that corner. And for him, I mean, he has what we just consider that dog mentality. With him, I think he's necessarily that person that you want to throttle down sometimes. You're not always open, but ask him and he's always open, which is the Chad Ochocinco deal. But those are the guys that you
Uh-huh.
that you know though that and we talked about it in the coach's office and what makes him such a special kid. The Mamba mentality of he might miss 20 shots. But he's going to shoot 100, and for him, he wants the ball every play, and but it's not so much selfishness, it's just what he can do, and he proved everything last year for me, and for the team and for this program though to having a hurt throwing shoulder and he still wanted to play quarterback because he had all his buddies that were seniors. To me, that's it, but that's why tonight was so good to see Isaiah and stuff and know that Isaiah was a huge, huge, huge reason not just offensively but defensively and special teams. That we do our own side, and he's a part of that when we get the ball back. But look, when there's 34 seconds left, he took a young guy off and said, "No, I'm going to be here for the kickoff to make sure it doesn't spring." So that gives me goosebumps just to kind of think about. And when you say Isaiah LeBlanc, I mean it's really is though. He's gonna. I hate he's a senior. That's my biggest thing. I gotta
Yeah,
figure out.
yeah.
I heard JUCO. That don't count towards your college years. I need to figure out how I can get him back. But yeah, special kid. And then we also have Balin Champagne, our running back. That
Yeah.
man, he was our workhorse, and for him, you want to talk about just ball control and coming right at you, and which was you start looking at Isaiah and what he did and what Balin did, and of course, who always gets left out is that offensive line, that was with
Yeah.
them, and we had Blaine Saunier, a senior, and right next to at one point this Percy Moultrie, who's a special lineman, and you're looking at a senior and a sophomore right next to each other, and another senior with Chris. And look, those guys really kind of took it upon themselves, and when we called the 2-point conversion to go up. Like those guys wanted it on their back, and so Balin, Isaiah, and Kanan Ardwan, all these on my offensive side, the skill players get it, but we all know that games are won in the trenches, and they did a heck of a job. And so proud of the big uglies because I was a big ugly, so
Yeah,
that's why I want to give a shout out to them.
yeah. I
And I'm
know
still
you're an
big and I'm
offensive
still
lineman,
ugly.
Alex,
Yep,
so
I
you have any
agree. I
questions?
agree. I'm that too. I'm not saying you. I'm that too.
Hey,
Yeah.
no, speak for the both of us.
Yeah.
Speak for the both of us. I am. I'll take all of it.
But congratulations on the win, Coach Pierce. Great to meet you. I wanted to ask. You talked about how important it was to win tomorrow. Talking about week 1 and getting into the film session. What does it take to get a team that just came off of a big win to get them to win tomorrow? Because that doesn't get less important just because you won the game, right?
Well, and that's the thing. And I, to be honest with you, I think that they have to understand that you might have won the game, but we have to win by tomorrow to say though that again the fumbles into the end zone that maybe could have been a ball game that was close that wasn't. I think you have to go through all the humbleness of guys we won, but look at this at what we have to correct. And and let's when I say win the day, I think mentally they have to understand we have to lock back in. But then after film is over with, look, I'm gonna buy them some donuts, some boudin kolache, whatever we're gonna get in tomorrow. But the thing is once it's done though, it has to be done, which again is that 15. And if we do that, then we win the game. But now, like what you're saying, if we go in there and we think we're good and we don't need to make the mistakes and we're gonna go undefeated, then we're going to get the absolute bejesus beat out of us next week. And so that's why it's kind of win tomorrow type situation. And, kids, let's be real, when there's a victory like this that you really had to do, it's hard to bring them back down. But what humbles you is which Coach Benji, our OC, and all that. I know there's going to be some hammering, but there's also going to be a lot of love behind it. And and once Saturday's done, go have fun. And then Monday, though, we just have to win Monday. We have to win day. We're just not a good enough team yet to sit here and say, though, we can't win Saturday and Monday and Tuesday, but then somehow Wednesday we're going to figure it out, and then Thursday and then go out and beat people. That's just that's not who we are. We're not that established yet, but that's the whole goal is just to win every day. And I know it's such coach speak, but you have to kind of teach the kids that within. That's not something that just is they just know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I
Right.
love it. Hey, it's easier to correct mistakes after a win. It was
Oh,
tough
yeah.
last week. It was tough, but again, it shows growth through having failure because we made a lot of the same mistakes tonight, but I don't think we made near as many just off the wall mistakes like week one brought last week.
Yeah, Coach. I know there's that 24-hour rule. I know y'all celebrating this one anytime you beat a defending state champion. It's great. It's a great confidence booster for your guys. So, what's up next for y'all guys next week?
St. Martinville, and with them, of course, Coach Kramer over there has already set the bar high here in the St. Martin Parish, and their week one win I think surprised a lot of people, and of course, with Lafayette High, tough opponent, somebody that we had played as well, so there's a little bit of a measuring stick, even though that was a jamboree for us, but St. Martinville and what they're doing, I mean, anytime you beat another, Cecilia defending champion week one, and whether people graduated or not, that's a high mark. So, the one good thing is for the kids when they play local schools, they're locked in a little bit. That helps. If we were playing somebody way off after a win like this, I think it could be easy for them. But St. Martinville wants to beat us, and we want to beat St. Martinville. The whole Cecilia, St. Martinville, Breaux Bridge. I mean, we're all connected right there. So, but it makes fun times for all the community, and it's another reason why I love coaching here.
Absolutely, Coach. You're doing a great job. Great win tonight. I know, like Madeline says, getting late, so let's put a wrap on it and
Yeah.
be on your way, Coach.
And look, and again, and I know I saying that thank y'all for just all the stuff that y'all are doing with the schools and the promotion and stuff like that is awesome because high school, I hate to say it, but it's like I used to love high school and college and different things like that, and more, and especially the promotion of y'all and everything like that y'all are doing. Though it's like high school is, I mean, NIL has kind of messed my Saturdays up, even though I still watch all the games and
Yeah,
when LSU's on,
right.
I'm playing it. But what y'all are doing throughout the whole entire state for all the programs though is awesome, and I don't even know. I mean, like Jace, my goodness, you must work 24/7 all the time. It's okay to take a break every so often, but but
Yeah.
I thank y'all so much. I thank y'all so much for doing it. Even whenever you said this, I'm like, wait a second. And I texted you tonight because I'm thinking
Tonight, yep.
11:30 to 1:30, and
Tonight.
hey, respect the grind from y'all for sure. And I appreciate y'all so much of thinking of Breaux Bridge tonight. And again, just thank you for all y'all do.
Absolutely, Coach. Man, I'm gonna make sure to clip that part and then send that to Andy, and then maybe I get a release from
Hey,
Andy.
hey, yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a
So,
little bit.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Well, thank
Absolutely,
y'all
Coach.
so much, Alex. It's nice. I guess it's not a formal meet, but
Nice to meet you too,
yes,
Coach.
anytime.
Absolutely.
And look, if y'all need anything, y'all always just know though. Just give me a ring. I'll try my best to do whatever y'all need.
Absolutely. We'll be around the same time, 11:30 or so. So anytime you want to
Perfect.
stop by and talk about some Tigers football, Coach, for sure. Thank you, Coach,
That's
so
it.
much. Coach,
Appreciate it.
winning head football coach, absolutely, coach, at Breaux Bridge High School. What a win over Vermilion Catholic. That was a big win for Coach Pearson. What a great guy as well. I got a chance to talk to him the last couple media days, and he's doing a great job with those kids over there. So yeah, Alex, let's see we go and talk about scores before another coach barges in.
Yeah. Let's try. We'll be here until 4 a.m. if we don't.
Right, we gotta get some scores, so we're going to do that. But hey, love when the coaches come in. It makes the show. When we talk about their game, it personalizes it a little bit instead of just going over the scores. So it makes the show a lot better. But Tramon Douglas defeats Houma Christian 38-3. Yep, for sure.
You do need to show the scores.
Oh, okay, that does help. So that's what happens when you flip around tabs and
you're doing great, man. You're doing great.
Here we go. But I appreciate letting me know. Hamilton Christian defeats Highland Baptist 52-0. Javon Vital, man, he's fun to watch. If you go watch film, go watch this kid's highlight tape. LSU's already offered him. He's the real deal. He's still got another year left, so watch out, everybody. Delhi gets a 21-12 victory over Delhi Charter. Big win there for the Bears. We have Port Barry getting a 34-27 win over Beau Chene. This is going to be a very improved Port Barry football team this year. Pineville, Justin Charles.
Whoa, nice.
Statement for 2 weeks. They're making a statement for 2 weeks. 69-14 win over Boyles. And I mean, they put it on week 1 as well. 2-0 start for the Coach Charles era. And I could have texted Coach Charles to chime in and hop on, but still a very impressive win for the Rebels there. Archbishop Shaw, great that they get back on the right path and on the right track, but they did play in the car last week. So
I kind of nothing against West Jefferson, but I don't think it really would have mattered who they would have played. It probably would have been easier. No
matter what, Alex, it's going to be a downswing from playing in the car, no matter who. Play. But I know that's a confidence booster for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when you're trying to walk on like the incline treadmill for a long time and you're just dying on it, and then all of a sudden you walk off of it. Now you're walking in a straight line just like normally, and it's like, I'm floating. This is amazing. It's great. Like it's obviously, again, no ill will towards West Jefferson. It's just everything's gonna feel slower and easier when you just played in the car the previous week.
We're going to go to it, Miss Noel. I appreciate the update. We did have a comment here. A thriller in Rosedale. North Iberville High School defeats its rival Livonia 26-25. In fact, I think I was just about to text Coach Gass to come on, but I know we'll get Coach Gass to come on later on. But big win. Livonia was coming off a win last week, so that's in that same area over there. So a big win for the Bears. And North Iberville, they're not a one-hit wonder last year. They're going to be, I think, going to even be even better this year with a lot of those guys coming back. I mean, the only guy you really have to replace is Mikel Toussaint. With them, kind of like the heart and soul of that team last year, but they're going to be really good. We do have another comment. I appreciate it. I wish I got into it earlier, Jason, but thank you for your comment. We want y'all to be involved with the show. But Jason Haygood Jr., what y'all thinking about Franklin Parish? I think Franklin Parish is the favorite to win a state championship this year in their bracket. We talked to Coach Burnett and the Patriots at our media day. They returned the quarterback to Darian Ellis. They got a lot of Division I guys on defense. Like, this Franklin Parish football team is legit, and they got so many different weapons. They are going to be really good, man. And I think this is the year. This is one of these years that everything kind of comes together. this is a Franklin Parish football team. If I had to put my money on it in Division II, and now this is still week 2, so we're talking about really early in the year. But if I have to put my money on it right now, that's the team I'm rolling with to get to the dome.
It's tough to say no. That's they're really good. And if you're thinking about that bracket, Franklinton was the 1 seed last year. They almost won the state title last year. They're a really good team, but we saw them in the spring. They're missing a couple pieces. They'll be there. They'll be there in the end, but I'm saying they don't feel unbeatable. Cecilia's lost some players. Yeah. They got knocked off in week 1. We just talked about that game, that being surprising. So they were the state champions last year. Letcher will be one of the favorites. They'll be really good, of course. That's probably where my mind goes to in terms of like big favorites in that bracket. Plaquemine made the semis last year. Obviously, teams like Northwest, Jennings, Iowa, who was the team that knocked off Franklin Parish last year. It's a good bracket. My point in bringing all of this up isn't to downplay Franklin Parish. In fact, it's the opposite. It's that considering all of that, I think the claim is completely reasonable that Franklin Parish might very well be one of the favorites to win that bracket this year, because it's not a bracket that feels untenable. It's not they had a really close game against Iowa in the quarterfinals last year. It was a really good game, and they were competitive in that. And so there wasn't this wide gap between the best teams and the quarterfinal teams, the round of 16 teams in this bracket. They're really good. They're one of those really good teams that's going to have a chance. Even if they're just at that same level, they'll have a chance to just have a more high variance run. But it's fair to think that instead of, I think they were like the 5 seed last year, the 4 seed last year. Mm-hmm. And, they might have been the 4th or 5th best team. They might be the 2nd or 3rd best team. They might be the best team. And then that puts the odds in their favor. And so up there with, I would say the other school that comes to mind for me is Letcher in that bracket as like some of their biggest competition. But there are a lot of really good teams, but they're one of those teams that's absolutely worth considering as a favorite in that bracket.
Yeah, great question, Jason. I appreciate Jason, Noel Toussaint. We also have some comments from Madeline Pierce, and I wonder why. seeing Coach Pierce talking. She said, "Go Tigers." He said, "Also, it's late. Everyone has to go to bed. Wrap it up, Coach." Well, we're not going to bed just yet, guys. So we're going to go through a lot of these scores, but I have to talk about Franklin Parish because that was a comment on our feed, so I had to address that. Westlake defeats LaGrange 47-12. Big win for Coach Richardson and the Rams. Terry Minor, talking about kind of that Hudson Fuller coaching tree. The OC was an OC under Coach Fuller at Catholic. He gets his first win as the head coach at West Louisiana with a 54-16 win over the Bel Air Bengals. We've just mentioned we talked to Coach TD. Big win over Walker, 20-17. Delta Charter gets a win over Vidalia, 52-6. Terrebonne starting the season 2-0. Big things in store for the Tigers this year, trying to defend their district championship. 42-3 win over Ellender. Sterlington, the defending state champions, get a 48-14 win over Lakeville. St. Michael just saw this team last week against Episcopal, 42-8 victory over the. I do
want to so a couple things I do want to mention. First off, when you scrolled up, I saw. So I have it not in full screen right now, so that I can make sure if there's a coach that comes in the studio, I can check. Sure. So sometimes it's a little bit easy for me to like misread one of the, and it's like 1 in the morning. And so you scrolled past Sterlington beating Rayville 48-14, and I just glanced at it and I thought it said Sterlington beat Neville 48-14. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. We have to talk about the pause about that and talk about that.
Yeah, that would have been, Sterlington's a really good team, defending state champion, all of that. But what? What do you mean? No. Okay, Rayville, nothing against Rayville, but that's a little bit less shocking. But I also wanted to point out there was a comment. I have the comments up here as well, so I can respond to them and take a little bit off your load, perhaps.
That would be great.
Yeah. Jason mentioned Franklin Parish specifically. They have a really interesting game I just want to briefly mention next week against Calvary Baptist.
Wow. Okay.
You're talking about one of the favorites to win Franklin Parish's bracket versus one of the favorites to win Calvary Baptist's bracket. Now, of course, it's two different levels.
That was kind of like the statement win for Coach Burnett to get a win over Calvary Baptist, because we remember how loaded that Calvary Baptist team was. I still, to this day, even though they didn't win state last year,
they should have.
Were better than the state championship team that won. But yeah,
and the way that game played out is, I think that's a fair thing to say. I mean, the result's the result. That team won the state championship, congratulations to Catholic Iberia, but you take an onside kick, and that Calvary team was loaded. Anyway,
yeah, they really were. But that's going to be a big game. We're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to actually try to get the winner of that game to come on the show next week. But I appreciate Jason getting involved. This is what we want from the fans. We want them to chime in and talk. But yeah, I'm really high on Franklin Parish. I mean, again, chance to talk to him at Media Day when we're over there at Pineville High School in the off season. You actually can go to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and check that interview out if you want to know more about what Coach Burnett thinks about this team. But he's been around a lot. Great
shameless plug.
So yeah, I mean, hey, what else I'm going to do at 1 o'clock in the So Andy does expect some plugs out of this, right? So I got to throw that every now and then. But I appreciate Jason with the comments. Definitely keep them coming. So Bunkie, 32-13 win over St. Louis Catholic. Big news today from Bunkie. Zion Lee, the running back from Bunkie, did commit to Navy today. So a big congratulations to Zion, and obviously he's a guy we invited to play in the bowl game this year. So yeah,
he's awesome.
He's a load. I don't want to bring him down, and I'm gonna get run over. I tell you what, I try to bring that big man down. Zion Lee. So congratulations, Zion, a great kid as well. I got a chance to talk to him at Media Day. How about St. John? They're off to a 2-0 start. I'm not going to say it's solely because Dad is helping out with the offense over there, but the Eagles are doing really good with Coach Trosclair. He's doing an excellent job with the program, and that's a team kind of upper in class in Springfield. So to get a win like that, it shows a lot about this football team, and that 1A district is going to be interesting to watch as we progress and go through it. St. James doing St. James things against West St. John, but downtown, like the score stream says, beautiful downtown Vacherie. This used to be a game, Alex, where it was like this was like a big time match.
Yeah, West St. John used to. Even I remember that. I'm a toddler, but even I remember West St. John kind of used to be a very notable team back in the day. But it is very funny that at this point I just see I just saw like the top half of it because of the ad, and it's like St. James 52. Yep, that makes sense. I don't know who they're playing, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, 52. Yeah. That quarterback still only, I think, a sophomore? He's a sophomore this year.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore.
He's only a sophomore this year.
Man.
Jacai's Villanueva. I mean, they got so many weapons over there.
That team's so young. That team's so young.
I know.
Kenny King Young, is that the name of the running back?
Yeah.
Something
I remember King Young. Yeah. I mean, they got so many weapons, and I mean, it could be Sterlington St. James the next 3 years if we really wanted it to be. Jess Curtis with a big win for the Southside Sharks, 35-20 over Westgate. People were kind of wondering what kind of team Southside was going to be. They lost to Notre Dame in week 1, but Westgate is a team that's always been a contender in that district. They've actually won a state championship. Had to get through in the car and Warren Easton to do it, to win a state championship a couple years ago. A great win, a bounce back win for Jess Curtis, getting a win over the Westgate Tigers, 35-20. South Terrebonne edging out Covenant Christian, 22-21. I guess a little bit of an upset there with Covenant Christian, especially being I mean, we talk about hiring class and everything, but it's still, I mean, South Terrebonne last couple of years is still a big win over Covenant Christian.
Yeah. Covenant Christian's a really small school, and so that's always going to be tough. But yeah, really, really good win for South Terrebonne. It's you're talking about a team in Covenant Christian that's I think on the rise in that 1A bracket and in that South like River Parishes, Louisiana area, and so for South Terrebonne to get that win, yeah, that's a big deal. That's my area, so I know these teams pretty well. So it's local team. Yeah, that's nice for South Terrebonne because I think this year Covenant Christian is going to be good. They were really good last year. They're going to be good again. So traditionally traditionally doesn't sound like much, but it's important right now. So that's a good one for South Terrebonne.
Yep, Owen Trosclair was a really talented quarterback for him. Had 4 touchdowns last week. South Lafourche, they fell short last week to Thibodeau, but they bounced back 26-22. Terrence Petrie, man, he's a dude. He's a baller. Joshua Mack, the quarterback. I mean, they got some good players over there at South Lafourche, and they came up short on the short end last week, but that experience of being in a close game last week helped them here as they were on top and got close victory this week.
Yeah, will be a fun team to monitor throughout the season.
South Beauregard gets a 42-38 win over Washington Marion. A big win there for the Knights, the Plaquemine Green Devils. We talked about Franklin Parish. They're still another favorite in that bracket to compete for a championship this year. Plaquemine, 43-29 win over Scotlandville. Tramon Catholic, a big win there over Sam Houston. Coach Corville era starting off really nice there at Tramon Catholic, 46-14 win over Sam Houston, over the Broncos. How about this high-scoring game? East Ascension getting a 44 win over Salmon. So that all-star coaching staff of Brock Mathern,
hello, Jason Blackburn.
Jason Black, yep. So
I wonder what his day looked like.
I'm sure pretty good. And
you might talk about him again on Thursday for all we know.
Bryson Martinez, they're putting him at tight end. We're talking about the LSU offensive.
Wait.
They're putting him at tight end. So imagine doing geometry and math and then realizing, later that night, I got to tackle Bryson Martinez. So the life of
some poor 15-year-old safety who's 120 pounds soaking wet. He's the free safety in cover one or whatever, and he's like, okay, I gotta see the tight end over the seam and make the tackle, and then it's Bryson Martinez over the seam.
That's just unfair. I mean, that is unfair to give the ball. But that's what West Monroe used to do with Andrew Whitworth. They would do the same thing. They'll just put him at tight end and try to throw him the football.
Listed at 6'5", 280. Tough.
Yeah. I mean, he might be even bigger than that. I mean, he might be in the 290s, to be honest with you. But, yeah, big win, 50-44 for Coach Mathern and the Spartans bouncing back with a 1-1. I mean, Rustin continues to do Rustin things. What a way to start the season. You dominate Acadiana. You go into Arkansas, dominate the Panthers there. Yeah, I mean, so many dudes over there. It's just ridiculous. Ahmad Hudson. You have Aiden Anding's brother, too, who's at LSU. But they got a lot of guys, and they're going to be right there. And a little bit of a revenge tour, especially of what happened in the Superdome against Central. Yeah. So this is a team on a mission, and they're starting the season like that with a big win. Riverside Academy, how about that for the Rebels getting a 19 win, big win there for Coach Russell and the Rebels. A slow start to the season for the Newman Greenies, starting the season at 0-2. Something we haven't really seen much from the Greenies. I know they're still kind of adjusting new head coach Aaron Weiss. So there's still a little bit of adjustment period there with the Greenies, but big win for Riverside Academy. They're going to be a sneaky team. A lot of their best players.
Riverside's got players, so they're
They're
really
all
good.
Like 9th grade.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah,
young.
yeah. Because now that Lassie's gone, it's all of those like freshmen and sophomores.
Kendrick Johnson.
I went to the crazy Harlem Berry 9-touchdown game for Lassie last year, which led him to winning Player of the Year for us. And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, the biggest recruit for this team's actually that freshman wide receiver that caught that touchdown." And it was like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, so he's only a sophomore. I don't remember his name, but you mentioned earlier. He's only a sophomore. The quarterback's young. Like the whole team's really young. So yeah, you've got a boat there in Riverside that's just really good. And yeah, it starts at Newman. You talk about his first year head coach. We'll see what this goes for them. Having some patience with that, I think, is important.
Yeah,
growing
pains a little bit. Yeah,
really good win for Riverside.
Yeah,
really
it was. Brock Bourgeois, you mentioned him, the quarterback. He was a quarterback on that state runner-up team just 2 years ago. So a 3-year starting quarterback with all those weapons.
Okay, I apologize. I'm wrong. He's older than I remember.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But they have a lot of young players.
Outside of him, yeah.
A lot of young players, but talented. Red River, a team that's going to be sneaky this year. They won district last year. Not a lot of people really talked about that last season for Red River, but they get a 20-14 win over St. Mary's. Donaldsonville gets a win over Fort Allen, 37-14 for the Tigers for Coach Darnell Lee, the former East Ascension head football coach down there leading the Tigers. Let's see what we have here. Varnado with a big win over Pope John Paul. Final score 50-6. Very convincing win there by the Wildcats. Dutchtown put it on Ponchatoula. They fell last week. 2 Mass and Prep. We had Coach Landry Williams on the show talk about it. And Dutchtown put out all their anger and frustration on the Green Wave. 44-13 final score there. How about Ringgold getting a win, 54-12? It's been a long time coming for Ringgold to really win a game like that by that fashion. So congratulations to the Redskins on getting that victory. There's going to be another team we're going to talk about ending losing streak. We're going to talk about that team coming up. Little tease there for people that are still up this late. Madison Prep. Hey, they're winning these games. And Landry Williams has always scheduled these games. He's always scheduled to go up in class, and it's working. They beat Dutchtown last week, and now Mandeville, and they're making a statement right now, like, "Hey, watch out for us this year. We can go up and play." And these are not bad 5A teams. They're talking about Dutchtown.
Yeah. This isn't some team that missed the playoffs last year or anything. Mandeville was, I think, the 5 seed. They were a team that a lot of people saw as like a semifinal favorite. I think they got knocked off early or something like that last year, but they were really good. I think Will Shepard's brother Nate
Shepard,
Nate Shepard got hurt, and so their postseason run got kind of derailed. But they were the 5 seed. In 5A, the bracket was Zachary and Rustin and Neville in it.
Yeah,
that bracket, they were the 5 seed. Dutchtown only lost like 2 games last year. They were like the 11 seed. So we're talking about some very good football teams that Madison Prep is knocking off. That's a scary team. You're talking about favorites to win a state championship in their bracket, and I think Madison Prep has to come to mind. Actually, the counterpart to Franklin Parish on the select side, as a potential favorite to win that Division II bracket. So,
as we're going through scores, guys, if y'all have any comments, just generic comments, I know we had a couple of them today. I appreciate all those that have been tuning in, chiming in. If you have a question about a score that you really want to hear, or curious about a team, just feel free to comment below. And besides that, we'll just kind of go down the list and keep going rolling. So the next,
and even if you're watching this afterwards, by the way, feel free to comment. We enjoy any kind of feedback, and we'll be happy to reply either in this episode or either in the comment section or in the next episode. So
Right, and this will be like Alex's point. This will be uploaded on YouTube and on Twitter Saturday morning, and it's already live streamed on Facebook, so you can just go back and watch it. If you missed anything, we'll put the timestamps on when the coaches came on, as well as we want to just hear what the coaches had to say. The Willow School gets a 33-20 victory over Country Day. And Country Day, they actually got a Pistol next week. Now I'm not going to be on the call for that, so that's going to be. We'll see what happens there. But the Willow School gets a big win. Alex, I know you interviewed the Willow School, so Coach Smith.
Yeah, it's a good. They're going in the right direction. That's a good win for them. That's a big win for them. So it's good to see them continuing to move in that direction. Absolutely.
Speaking of big wins, how about Covington against Franklinton, 28-26? Especially Franklinton was in the Dome last year, number 1 seed and all of that. I know Covington's a really good 5A program, but it's going to be a tough game against a really good Franklinton football team, and credit Coach Salter and the Lions are getting the job done, winning the game 28-26.
Yeah. Franklinton's. I said that they lost some pieces earlier today, but they're still going to be really good. You don't come off of that state championship appearance and fall off. Really, they're a really good team, and obviously Jacob Crane's gonna be able to do a lot in his senior season. So yeah, really nice win for Covington. Doesn't matter that it's a 4A team; that's an elite 4A team. So that's a big win for them.
We have Brother Martin St. Paul's. I kind of flew out under the radar. On this Friday. But Brother Martin gets a 37-27 win over St. Paul's. The Coach Moniz and the Crusaders get a win, and they got a receiver. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about Easton Royal over there, one of the top wide receivers in the country over there at Brother Martin. He's a special player. I've seen him in person. He is the real deal, and he's still got a couple years left of eligibility. So big win there for the Crusaders over a really good St. Paul's team. This was intriguing for a couple different reasons. Burley coming off a big win last week against a big rival there in Port Allen, and Broadmoor. It was a feel-good moment. They got a win over Springfield last week, but Burley is showing some really good start. They go 2-0 and do so in definitive action for sure. To win like that's a statement there for the Burley Panthers. So congratulations, Coach Schooler and the Panthers getting that job done. Desherham bounced back after the Catholic loss in Week 1 in a big fashion, 58-20 over Bonneville. The defending state champions, South Plaquemine Hurricanes, gets a 38-14 win over Bogalusa, so a win up in class. So that will actually help them in the power rankings there. Mm-hmm. And Hammond, a little bit of a defensive struggle there, defensive battle, 10-3 against Amite. Amite started the season at 0-2, so a team that we're used to, competing for state championships and making the run. Yeah, a little bit of a slow start to the season. A big
Hammond,
we saw that. Yeah.
Hammond's a good team. So we actually they lost to both of Amy's losses are to Franklinton and Hammond, two teams that we saw play each other in the spring, funnily enough. But they're both good teams. They're both very good football teams, and Amy's playing up in both games, so that's always going to be tough. I wouldn't read that much into it. It's sort of like LCA last year, where even if Amy loses a bunch of these games that are to these top ranked teams, they might still be a high seed because they're playing all these high 4A 5A teams. So it's like I think it's I wouldn't read too much into it. They'll be there in November. They'll be fine.
Moving on, we have Sacred Heart getting a 42-0 victory over Pine Prairie. So great, congratulations, Coach Aguilar, getting the victory there. We'll load some more scores, go through it all. You just gotta love the internet. You just gotta love it, man. All right, here we go.
You'd think at 1 a.m. there wouldn't be any traffic, and we'd be
right. You would think. 56-6 win for Coach Brotherton and the Panthers. Big win over Woodlawn of Shreveport. Let's see, we got Prairieville. How about that over Parkview?
Wow.
That's a program building win there for Coach Schmidt and the Hurricanes over an established program.
It's a down year for Parkview Baptist. That much might be true, but that's still really big. That's still really big for Prairieville. Really, really big deal. And Prairieville's
they're 5A.
5A. They're 5A.
Because they went right to the deep end last year. Not like, let's start off with the JV 2-year schedule. Let's start off with that. No, we're going to start right into varsity act in the 5A.
Yeah, and it's not like, and this is I actually forgot to mention this with the North Iberville comment earlier to highlight that North Iberville, and this is actually going to be a negative thing about North Iberville, but that's not the intention. They're this is only their second year in varsity, and I think last year wasn't a fluke. You said that earlier, and it's a really exciting team. Get to see them continue to build a really young team and continue to grow, and I think they'll be really good again this year. But it's a little different when you're easing into a program. So first year playing varsity and you're playing in 1A might be a little bit. That adjustment might be a little bit easier than if you're jumping right off, like you said, into the deep end and having to play 5A football and be in a district with Dutchtown and Santa Mont and Walker and Denham Springs, EA. So Parkview Baptist is a 3A school. Yeah, Parkview Baptist isn't, hasn't been a state power like this year, last year. Looking like that doesn't matter. Getting a win like this is a big deal for a program so young. So big program building win. You hit the nail on that.
Yeah, for sure. Ouachita Parish, they got a really good quarterback, a dynamic athlete there, and Montreal Connor. They got a win over Walsman in big fashion, 54-6. Very impressive win over there for the Lions there. Coach Benji Lewis. Welch getting a win over Odell, 36-28. Oak Grove, remember they played Calvary Baptist last week. They did lose. We're on the losing end of that, but they bounced back against Crosset. The Eagles out of Arkansas, 53-21. Big win there for Coach Gregory and the Tigers. Northwood Shreveport flexing their muscles tonight against the War Horses. And now Northwood is expected to be a really good football team this year. One of the favorites in that district to go in district this year. So statement win there for the Falcons over Peabody team that's dealing with a first-year coach, head coach, and Jamar Washington. A big win for the Falcons. And we're also going to talk about Northwood Alena. They lost to Elton. McKeown Lemoyne is a really great running back there for the Indians. They win 45-22. Kind of interested to see what his numbers. I'm sure he's going to probably be in the discussion for Player of the Week this week. Northside gets a 48-25 win over Sulphur. Big win there over the Golden Tours. So for sure, that's a big win there for Northside to get a win over a program in the Lake Charles area in Sulphur. So big win there. John Curtis, they beat a team in California. They come right back in week 2, and they win over North Shore in blowout fashion, 53-11. And JT Curtis and the Patriots, they're really showing that they will be a factor this year in the Catholic League after a great end to the season last year.
Yeah, I do just want to see something real quick. Look at how they started the season last year. Yeah, so for perspective, they beat North Shore last year 27-7. Yeah, they lost that game, the out-of-state game last year, only put up 12 points. They were, I think Grant put it really well last year. They were one of the least explosive versions of a JT Curtis team we'd seen in a very long time. And they struggled a lot in the Catholic League. They went under 500 for the first time in 50 years. Still made the semifinals because I don't know, but well, I do know JT Curtis is the reason. But
JT,
yeah. But it's very scary, the fact that they're putting up a lot more. And North Shore might be a different team, I don't know. But the point is, putting up 53, there's an offensive output, an explosivity element to this team that if it's present, John Curtis vaults right back up into that state title contender group because it takes a lot for them not to be there because they have JT Curtis as their head coach. So it's that is a distinct possibility.
You always have a chance when JT Curtis is on the sidelines. I can guarantee you that. But John Curtis moving to 2-0. We've already talked about North Iberville getting a win over Livonia 26-25. We already talked about the comments in the comment section. So, yeah, big win there for the North Iberville Bears. They're 2-0 to start the season. Livonia team has got some good players. Khalil Thomas, former Catholic High running back, is there leading that program. But the Bears, they edge out. This is a little bit of a rivalry game there, too. So the Bears are going to be for real this year. They're going to be a player there in Division 4. Let's move on. North DeSoto. Speaking of being a player, North DeSoto is Luke Delafield is back for what seems to be like the 10th year. He's been playing for like forever. But remember, he led North DeSoto to the Superdome when he was a freshman at quarterback, and he's looking for his senior year to bring him to the Superdome. They defeat Center High School. That's where Caden Dixon played. Gridiron football All-American running back. They've been doing like a home and home, playing them like every year. So North DeSoto gets a good win there for Dennis Dunn and the Griffins, 49-25.
Luke Delafield is the Cam Rising of Louisiana High School football. Or
Minus all the injuries.
Minus all the injuries. Yeah, the
Right.
Jalen Daniels, these guys that are here for 8 years. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have the injury problems, of course.
Yeah,
Anyway.
for sure. Definitely want to have a great healthy senior season. North Central gets a 30-14 win over Gaydon. We have North Webster defying Devin Whites. That's how I like to call him. That's where he played high school football at. 47-14 over North Caddo up in Vivian. Pop Houston, we know they're going to score points every single week, and they're going to be really fun to watch every single week. And Evangel, they hung in there, really gave Neville all they can handle, and they bounced back with a big-time win over Natchitoches Central, who had a very impressive Week 1 win over Breaux Bridge after talking with them. Montgomery, so this was a team, remember Aiden Tate and the Grant game, this was 70-50, that crazy score. I'm not sure you actually saw this. I actually found out about this after the stream, but Aiden Tate for Grant had 10 touchdowns in one game against Montgomery. He scored 10 touchdowns in one game for Grant. And Montgomery scored 50 points and lost by 20. So that shows you that there was not really
imagine the same player, all 10 of them. Unreal.
But Montgomery bounces back. They got a really good quarterback as well. We'll have more about him in the next couple of weeks. Kind of like a plug there. Might hint about the Gridiron Football American Bowl game, so I'm kind of hitting there. Mangum gets a 34-28 win over Richwood. Now, Richwood's been pretty impressive to start the season. 1-1 start the season, but Mangum is a really good football program at the 2A level. So, I mean, this is a team that's always going to be contending for a deep playoff run, quarterfinal, semifinal type of run. So, Richwood showing some strides there, but just came on the short end of the stick there against the Dragons. Mamu gets a 30-24 win over Brazil. One of the most underrated players in Louisiana is Amari Brown. This guy is a playmaker. Last week, Alex, he touched the ball 4 times, scored 3 times. That shows you what kind of I was like. Maybe you increase his touches a little bit after.
Jersey didn't even get dirty.
No. Lutcher, St. Charles Catholic, and Lutcher actually starts the season 0-2.
Whoa! You can edit out what I said about Lutcher earlier, right? Right? Oh wait, we're live. No, I mean, look, it's week 2. Although that results pretty genuinely concerning. No, I mean, look, Lutcher's going to be a good football team, but
St. Charles.
Wow.
St. Charles Catholic. Just forget about what happened all last year. St. Charles Catholic is going to be back to what they were for a state championship. In 2 games, they've given up 3 points, and that is against Newman and Lutcher.
That's against
because, I mean, think about that. In 2 games, you play Newman and you play Lutcher, and you give up a total of 3 points. So, say that what you will, but
by the way, Lutcher gave up. What was the number? They gave up, I believe, 30 points in 9 of their 10 regular season games last season, like combined. They gave up 30 points because they gave up 20 to Edie White. They gave up 50 in total. Obviously, infamously, Cecilia dropped 49 on them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they gave up like so 9 of their 10 games last season. They scored 30 points. St. Charles just scored 28. So the offensive number that number doesn't sound that high, but obviously when you shut a team out 28-0 feels like 58-0. So yeah.
Big win for St. Charles Catholic, moving to 2-0, kind of making a statement this year with Coach Wayne Stein. Thibodeau, how about the Louisville Northeast era? They're starting off 2-0. So 41-13 win over LB Landry. LaRondre gets a 31-7 win over St. Thomas Aquinas. Loyola Prep, and I was trying to get in talk. John Sull was actually one of the coaches I was trying to text to come on tonight and talk about their win over Logansport. Logansport's a great.
It's a little late now.
No, I texted him like at the beginning of the show.
I know. I'm saying I don't think he'll come on at this point. I think it might be a little. I think we're the only 2 people awake now. Actually, wait, let me
probably
see.
the only 2 crazy people that are.
No, there are 3 people watching us. So.
Oh, we appreciate everybody that's watching right now, and please like and share and spread it out. This is our first live stream. Now it's taped. Last week we were just trying to experiment, so we're going to get better and improve it as we go on. But any comments, any games that y'all want to hear about, any scores that you missed, feel free to comment and chime in. We had a couple comments tonight. But 55 points scored from Loyola Prep in week 1, 47 points scored in week 2. They're going to score a lot of points. We know about Bryce Resovich, their quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the state for the 2027 class, and they're scoring a lot of points. So they're going to be really fun to watch. The Flyers having a high-flying passing attack there. So there you go. Slidell with a 42-27 win over Livingston. Slidell starting off the season at 2-0. I believe that was a team that did beat Lutcher last week to start 1-0. So great start to the season for Coach Page and the Tigers for a bounce back year. It's looking like for the Slidell Tigers. LaSalle gets a 32-29 win over Lakeside. Big good win there for LaSalle.
Exciting game, probably.
Lafayette getting a win over St. Martinville, 23-19. So Coach Heron, a long time Ascension Episcopal head coach, he took the job there at Lafayette. They got some players there, man. Jamian Brown went to a Gridiron football camp, and he's a big-time playmaker. They got 2 great quarterbacks there as well. So, yeah, I mean, maybe St. Martinville coming off a high, defeating the defending state champions in Cecilia. And Lafayette was able to take advantage of it and getting the win.
Good game, close game.
Yep. West Ouachita gets a 62-13 win over Jonesboro Hodge. Big win there in decisive fashion there for the Chiefs. Kinder Discovery getting a 49-34 win over Jefferson Rise Charter. Kinder getting a 59-41 win over Iota. The Yellow Jackets start off the season at 2-0 as well. They got a really young athletic quarterback in Isaac Thomas. He's a great playmaker there. He's going to do a lot of great things this year for the Yellow Jackets. Pine, they're going to be great once again this season. 44-19 win over Independence to start the season. Minden bounced back after really gave up a big comeback in their loss last week. They pitched a shutout. So their defense definitely remember that over Homer, which is one of the better 1A football programs in the state of Louisiana. 20-0 shutout there for Coach Hurd and the Minden Crimson Tide. Gina wins big well. Lopside 56-3. They were in a high-scoring game there last week against Mangum, and this time their defense stepped up big when giving up 3 points on the board. Northeast gets a 20-6 win over Mentorship Academy. Conville gets a 48-6 win over McMain. Park Lane gets in Macomb, Mississippi. It's a 35-12 win over Oak Forest. So a couple of these MAIS schools. Brookhaven gets a win over Bowling Green, 17-16. We have Adams County Christian getting a win over Chef in Baton Rouge, 48-12. Ouachita Christian gets a win over General Trask, 49-0. We talked about Franklin Parish earlier in the show. They won tonight.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Over St. Frederick. So everybody's going to talk about that big game next Friday night against Calvary Baptist. Jeanerette gets a 66-20 victory over Franklin. Big statement victory there. Fountain Blue puts 50 points on the board against Madison. Keep an eye on their running back.
That young running back.
Yeah, he is really good there for Fountain Blue. Faraday looking like they're going to be a strong contender this year to compete for a state championship. They defeat Block 56-0. Jennings bounces back after the loss to Iowa last week, and got a bit of a fight there from Eunice, but Jennings gets a 22-16 win over the Bobcats. ERAF wins big, 48-8 over North Vermilion there. Jesuit, how about Jesuit? The Blue Jays get a 24-21 win over E.D. White. Jesuit's kind of one of those trendy teams there in the Catholic League, and E.D. White, coming off a state runner-up finish last year. So 24-21.
You've seen every E.D. White game before. You know what that game looked like. That game was probably really interesting, like a really close game. And it was filled. It was like a short game, and E.D. White had 4-yard carry, 4-yard carry, 4-yard carry, 4-yard carry, 4-yard carry, 4-yard carry, over and over and over and over and over again. And then it was just a slightly better team. That's what I feel like every E.D. White box score looks the same. All of the scores are in the 20s. They win 27-23. They lose 24-21. They lose 20-19. And it's slow and steady. E.D. White's what they are every year, and that's commendable. It does pain me to say all of those nice things about E.D. White, but it is commendable. But yeah, obviously, really good win for Jesuit, because E.D. White's the sort of program they've elevated themselves to the point with a Superdome appearance that, even though they're a 4A school, for even Jesuit was kind of a middle of the pack Catholic League team last year. And so for them to be able to knock off E.D. White is a big deal. It's also a big deal for E.D. White to be able to compete with a Catholic League team. So, two teams that you're expecting to be about this good, being really competitive with each other. But it's a nice win for Jesuit, absolutely.
Manny, it's been a struggle the last couple of years, kind of adjusting after Jess Curtis, but they've really bounced back. At least to start the season 2-0. They defeated DeRidder 49-21, and DeRidder does have some talent on that team, so a big win there for the Tigers. Manny, Lake Arthur gets a 27-12 win over the Quincy. This was interesting as well. Central was able to get the win to move 2-0. 2 close games start the season. Denham Springs is going to be a factor in this district with a veteran team. They got an athletic quarterback there who's played a whole lot of football there too. His twin brother plays receiver, and they got a really good tight end there in Hayden Ray as well. So Denham Springs, they're going to play a factor this year. I still think we're going to get to Sam on a little bit. They might be the best team in the district, but Denham Springs is going to be right there for it as well, I think.
Yeah, Denham Springs is going to be really good this year. Competing with Central is a big deal because the Central team is going to be awesome again. It'll be hard to be better than last year, but they'll be awesome again. So to compete with them, that means a lot.
Yeah, it really does. Big win for Central. Moves to 2-0 to start the season. The Arbonne Woods Charter gets a 55-24 win over Bearden in Arkansas. Close one here. Como edging out Patterson 34-30. for a close game there. Marksville starts off the season as well, 2-0. Big win over Church Point. That's had a lot of success in the regular season the last couple of years, 36-28. Devin Ladalay is a really good athlete there for the Tigers. Ascension Christian gets a 40-28 win over Central Private to start the season as well. That game was won there by the Lions. We have Central Lafourche getting a 40-14 win over New Iberia over the Yellow Jackets. West St. Mary gets a 44-6 victory over Centerville. Cedar Creek puts a 60-burger on Lakeview, 64-6. Big win there for the Cougars. Same here for Gosford Catholic Point Capee, 63-12 over the Crowley Gents. Catholic New Iberia, they start off the season 2-0. Remember, they got the win over Vermilion Catholic in the battle of defending state champions. There, 20-13 win over Central Catholic. We just talked to Coach Hudson Fuller earlier in the show. It was our first coaching guest tonight. Catholic with 2 statement wins to start the season with Destrehan and now St. Thomas More, 35-28. Like last year, we don't see it often. St. Thomas More starting off the season 0-2. At first, a loss to Karen Crow, and now a loss to Catholic. Now, after seeing Karen Crow tonight and knowing what Catholic is, not too shabby teams to lose to. But you know that's what happened last year. St. Thomas More bounced back, and I expect them to bounce back.
Yeah, I said something. The tone is different because they actually won some of the games last year, but there were concerns about the scoring output, and you had the young quarterback that was very highly touted, Mr. Badgeron, getting that Indiana offer, his offers from some big schools.
He's committed to Virginia Tech now.
Currently committed to Virginia Tech. Yeah. And so there were concerns about how that offense was performing. And then you turn around and 2 weeks later, they're beating Westgate like 48-0 or something like that. And it's like, the offense is fine. Then they knock off Turlings, which people weren't expecting. Turlings was the favorite going into that game. And they end up having a great season. They make it to the quarterfinals, then run to Edna Carr. They have basically as good of a season as you could reasonably expect, given the environment that they were in afterwards. So yeah, I'm not going to be the one to push the panic button. They played Catholic and they played a really good Karen Crow team. So yeah, it's losing by 7 points to Catholic. There are worse crimes out there than that. So
Coach Hudson Ford talked about like the ebbs and flows of that game. So to lose by 7, St. Thomas More had the lead. Catholic came coming back in the football game, and Coach Ford was talking about some of his top guys where we stepped up for the Bears later in that football game. So St. Thomas More is going to be just fine, and we knew how they bounced back. They're just too talented. Cole Badgeron with another year, so they're going to be just fine, and they're going to improve as we move forward. But they went for Catholic, showing why they're one of the best teams in the entire state. Southern Lab gets a win. They bounced back as well after losing last week to Liberty 34-20. And also the game that I was at, LCA Karen Crow. We can end the show with that interview with Coach Stanford, get his thoughts on that win. But it was back and forth, Alex. Basically the headline of that article I'm going to write tomorrow about that game is Braylon Walker and Braden Allen outdueled Carson Gursey and Chance Babineau, because that's basically what that was. Braylon Walker, the ULL commit for the Raging Cajuns at quarterback. Now he's going to be an athlete, at the next level. But, I mean, probably just as talented, to be honest with you, as Jawan Johnson. This kid's a freak of an athlete and really exciting to watch. And you go back, and obviously the highlights will be shown tomorrow, but, I mean, he was electric tonight. And then Braden Allen's a Tulane commit. He had 2 touchdown catches, one on the deep post and the screen. And then he also had a punt return for a touchdown. So 3 touchdowns for both of them. Chance Babineau was awesome. The Nickel State commit made a lot of plays. Carson Gursey was awesome tonight as well, former Gridiron football junior high All-American. So it was going to come down to which team had the football last. And now Karen Crow had the ball last with 30 seconds left. So LCA was still kind of pulling their breath. but they had to convert a 4th and goal. I might actually try to see if I can actually pull that play up while we're talking about this game. Let's see. We're going to experiment with this, and this might be something we incorporate later on to the show. But let's see here. Stop. Move this. See, there's a lot of things you gotta do when going live. So you want to add this. Share screen. You know what? We're going to punt on this, Alex. We're not going to do it. We're going to not show it. But you go on Twitter. You know, Gridiron Football Twitter. You can see what transpired at the end. It was a 4th and goal, and yeah, basically a great throw from Braylon Walker in the end zone. And we're trying to find Brady now. Was covered, went to his 3rd receiver for the game-winning touchdown, and find Caden for the end zone. So go to the Gridiron Football Twitter page, and you can find that play. Great win, 41-38. I came away really impressed with both those two teams and how they played. They were really impressed, really impressive. I have to say. All right, let's see. Come on, add back. Moving on, we'll go and wrap the show up with that game. We'll go back to that game. Like Captain Shreve, they bounced back. Lost 56-34 over. A lot of people had circled up in North Louisiana. Neville able to pull away from Calvary Baptist. Neville started off the season 2-0, and he played Evangel and Calvary Baptist. So two of the finest there in Shreveport. So 38-14. Neville's 2-0. Calvary, they're trying to measure. That's what Coach Ronnie Gann is going to try to do. He's going to try and match up his team against some of the bigger schools and see what they hold. And now you have another opportunity next week against Franklin Parish. So it doesn't get any easier. So you start off the season with Oak Grove, then you play Neville, and then you play Franklin Parish next week.
Yeah, really tough. Really tough start to the season for Calvary Baptist. But they've been matching up well. You know, the win last week over Oak Grove. Obviously, they fall short here. Neville's able to pull away, but it's a really good Calvary team. That says more about Neville that they were able to pull away. Obviously, it's the bigger team, but bigger school. But yeah, just two really good teams, and it's interesting to see how that outcome shakes out. But this Neville team is probably very good again, unsurprisingly.
Oh yeah, very, very good for sure, and they're going to get better as we get through the course of the season. Let's move on. Big win there for Neville. They're going to be really good. How about this? How about Houghton getting a win in overtime over CE Bird? Bird lost big last week. The Sandmalls, they start the season 0-2, but Houghton in overtime. This is the two teams that are familiar with each other in North Louisiana and the Shreveport area. So 36-35. And a little bit in a thrower there for the Buccaneers, get a big win over the Yellow Jackets. Buckeye, no 10 touchdowns tonight for Ahmad
No.
So 46-13 from Buckeye, and they did a great job for the Panthers defense for an offense that was really rolling last week against Montgomery, 46-13. We already talked to Coach Pierce. They got a big win tonight over Vermilion Catholic, 28-27. You can go back and listen to Coach Pierce's interview after we go live and we finish the broadcast tonight. Bossier gets a 49-20 win over Glenbrook. There, big win for the Bearcats, and Glenbrook put 60 points on the board last week. So good job by the defense there for the Bearcats. Oberlin gets a 53-8 win over Bolton. Kaplan gets a 49-0 win over Berwick to start the season. Bell Chase gets a 7. Poor East Jefferson. 70 points on the scoreboard given up by the Bell Chase Cardinals. So shutout there, 70-0. Booker T. Washington gets a 28-12 win over Bastrop. We have Glen Oaks getting a win over Baker, 28-12. Give a shout there to Coach Jones getting the victory over the Buffaloes. Ascension Episcopal defeats Archbishop Hannon. Remember, Hannon started off the season with a win over North Lake Christian, but they fall here against the Blue Gators, 21-10. Albany shuts out Sarah T. Reed, 54-0. Going to give a shout out to Coach Michael over there at Albany. Definitely a buddy here of us at Gridiron Football, and a guy that's coached with Andy when he was at Southeastern. So big win there for Coach Michael. Let's see, Airline. When Airline score up 50 points, the Airline still scoring points against the Benton Tigers, 50-18. We know that Kenny Darby out there, the LSU commit for the Airline Vikings. So they're going to be scoring a lot.
Stopping Malachi Ziegler means something,
Yeah, that does mean defense. Hey, there's some defense out there, Alex, in Shreveport. So that's going to be
maybe a little bit
about. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, you're right. How about Side Academy shutting out Collegiate 40-0? So good win there for Coach Wisham. Now this is the other game before Endicott. Everybody's going to talk about Endicott's win over American Heritage, Alex. But this was the game before that. It was Rumble and U High. Rumble was able to get a win, 30-17. And actually, Rumble did lose the LCA last week, so it shows you how impressive that win was for LCA and one of the more impressive teams starting the season. Because I'm really high on this U High team. They got two great running backs, and Sage Ingham, Corbin Odell. Everybody knows about Lamar Brown. So, yeah, I mean, big win there for Archbishop Rummel. They kind of pull away. I think it was really close early on, but basically, Rummel was able to pull away. All right, let's see. Moving forward, let's see. We got George Washington Carver with a 53-14 win over Higgins. East Iberville gets a 20-16 win over Capital. Westminster Christian Lafayette 54-0 over Thrive Academy. So we're getting some shutouts here late.
Yeah, we're not thriving. Also, we're on to the Thursday games.
Yep, which is you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, Alex.
Yeah.
Lions is Charter with a 44-0 win over Cohen. Now, I want to point out this. I think Southwood had like a 46-game losing streak, and it ended on Thursday night. Big win for Coach Johnson taking over there at Southwood, and they get a big win tonight, 16-15 over Arcadia. It's been a long time coming for the Southwood Cowboys, and the streak is over. It's finally like, when were they going to win the game? And it's finally. I'm really happy about these guys. I know it's been a rough go at it, but it really means a lot to these kids to find a way to win that football game. Just congratulations to Southwood on a great achievement for these guys.
Absolutely. Huge. That win must feel so cathartic. So cathartic. So
yeah, it's been years. It's been years since they've seen a win. So it's definitely not a strange feeling, but I know they're really enjoying it out there up in Shreveport on Thursday night. I was trying to get Coach Johnson to come on the show and talk about that win. But, yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get him on. But big win for Coach Johnson and the Cowboys, already making an impact already in his first year as a head coach. Vinton with a 43-0 win over Maryville. Notre Dame moves to 2-0 after an impressive Week 1 win against Southside. 42-7 win this time in Week 2 against Ville Platte. Sanamon.
What?
Sanamon's looking good. 60-56. This is why I really like this Sanamon team. Cooper Babin, Alex, I'm not sure you followed their Gridiron Football Player of the Week. Cooper
was
their Player of the Week, and he was even better in Week 2. I joked with Cooper, is like, dude, like, I can't just give you Player of the Week and you just like play lights out and you just play beyond what you played in Week 1. I mean, he ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for 2 touchdowns in Week 1. He threw for 4 and ran for 4. He had 8 touchdowns in the game.
Okay. So I do want to give my perspective on this, because the way you scroll up, I can only see the top team every time. So I saw before you scrolled up, I saw Cecilia 56, and I saw that they weren't the bolded team, meaning they had lost. And I'm like, what do you mean they scored 56 points and lost? What kind of game was this? Apparently, yeah, St. Amant. Yeah, Cooper Bevan. I saw him last year lose in round 1 of the playoffs to Westgate. I was at that game, and Cooper. It felt like the final start for a senior, like a well-regarded senior, but he has one more year. So it's just the esteem he has around that team in that school is very high. And so to see him have this, I wouldn't call it a breakout. He was already a really good player before this. But to start the season,
one of the best quarterbacks during the year. You would think about.
He was very good last year. And so for him to have this kind of start, not that shocking to me. It's fun to see that St. Amant really is one of those contenders, perhaps, in the area. So
yeah, and the defending state champion Cecilia. Obviously, you got to lose Diesel Solari, but scoring obviously is not an issue with them. They still got Vermilion Catholic, who is a freak on offense. They got a lot of guys to work with there. I think it's just trying to handle that target on their back now. I mean, everybody is gunning for them. When you're playing a defending state champion, it's different. It's different from being the Hunters because, face it, Cecilia kind of had that mindset of being the Hunters. Now they're really being the hunted because everybody knows that they won state last year.
And to be fair, it's not like they had an elite defense last year either. Right. It was all about the high flying offense and just pouring points on people and beating Plaquemine 56-37 or whatever the score was. They're just dropping 50 burgers on everybody, and so it's this sort of score isn't that shocking on Cecilia's end either. Especially St. Amant's a really good team, a 5A team playing up, so not that shocking. Very impressive from St. Amant though, and having that kind of performance is crazy.
Yeah. It really is to have a performance like that. 60-56. According to our rules, sorry, Cooper. I don't think you can win it again. But shout out to the Sam Mall fan base. I saw his mom posting all over Facebook about support the team support. 18,000 votes this week, Alex, from Sam Mall for Cooper to win that award. So saying a whole lot, and he definitely. We'll actually have an announcement about him winning. We already did it on their YouTube channel, but we'll have an article about him formally announcing him as a player of the week. Sorry, Andy. The Flying Andrew Brysons came up short in week 2, 28-14 against Grand Lake. But it's coming, Andy. They're going to win. They're going to find a way. They'll bounce back and get a win down the schedule. So 28-14, Grand Lake. Northwest is 0-2. Another team that had a great run to a great postseason run, and now they're falling short to Rain 36-33. A big win there for the Rain Wolves. So a couple of these teams that we know are really good starting off the season 0-2. Speaking of another one, I called this game last night. North Lake Christian defeated Episcopal 38-21. So was a call for that game last night. And really the key factor here is 2 words. And it is their running back, Cam Casnave. That was the factor in this one. And last year, talking about this game, I'm going to talk a little bit about this one since I called it. But the last year, it's basically the exact opposite. North Lake Christian really won the first half, and all the momentum was going towards their side. And the second half was total domination from Episcopal. It was the exact opposite here. Episcopal was the better team in the first half. They got all the momentum in the first half. Second half comes up, and Cam Casnave, remember what happened. He wasn't really much of a factor last year. Second half, Episcopal could not stop him. He was a man on the mission. And talking about Gridiron Football Player of the Week nominee, 207 yards rushing. He had 4 touchdowns rushing in the game and 3 2-point conversions. So, yeah, he was a man on the mission. He just got better as the game went on.
Who needs a kicker?
Yeah, right. Just and they did like the Wildcat. I called it like the Wild Wolverine because they're the Wolverines. So I called it the Wild Wolverine. and you knew it
The
was
wild
coming.
Casnave.
Yeah, the wild Casnave. Yeah, you knew it was coming, but you just could not stop it. Because they had a big offensive line too for a 2A team. So it's one thing to see it; it's just another thing to stop it. And Cam Casnave had an inspired performance in that 38-21 win over Pittsburgh, another team that's made 8 straight quarterfinals. This is a young football team, and now they got to play Country Day next week. So let's see if they get back on track. But Knight starting off the season 0-2. SAR Charter is going to be for real this year. They're going to win 62-0 over Morgan City. Alex, I know that's in your neck of the woods there, Morgan City.
Yeah.
So big win there for Slaughter Charter, putting a 60-burger in a shutout too. Warrenville gets a win over Ascension Catholic. That's a big win for Warrenville.
Wow, yeah.
Bulldogs,
They had a big win.
so-
They had a big win last year too. They beat was it Elton?
Yeah. They beat somebody they weren't supposed to beat.
They
but-
beat somebody they weren't supposed to beat. They were like the 15 seed. They beat like the 2 seed last year in the Haynesville bracket. No, not the Haynesville bracket. In one of the brackets. I don't know. I'm tired. They beat somebody.
Yeah, right. But after a big win in week 1 for Coach James, a little bit down to earth here in week 2. So 1-1 to start the season for the Bulldogs. Big win there for Coach Terry Martin and the Laurelville Tigers. Lincoln Prep gets a 52-14 win over Magnolia School of Excellence. Hey, Alex, how about your alma mater?
Hey, good Terriers.
37 win over John Eyre. Any thoughts on your Terriers winning tonight?
Go Terriers. No, I don't know. On a serious, by the way, the team was Erath that they beat last year. And then they lost to Erath. So it was.
Right.
It wasn't the Haynesville bracket. It was the St. James Sterling bracket.
I think last year, Erath and Orville. I think they played twice. Yep. Yeah.
So they lost to Erath in week 1, and then they beat Erath in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yep.
But go Terriers. They and John Ehretz, they got the right coach. But it'll be slow. It'll take some time. And this is the this should be a good year for Vanderbilt on a serious note. By the way, talking about the district that Vanderbilt's in, Fletcher doesn't look like the buzzsaw they were last year. That district might be a little bit more open for both E.D. White and Vanderbilt. So that could be a really interesting district to watch. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as the season progresses. I know Fletcher's they're going to get better too. But let's see, Struma gets a 24-0 win. Big win there for Coach Brian Glover as a head coach. Remember, Sid Edwards is now the mayor of Baton Rouge. So, he can't really coach the team anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. So the Indians get a win. 63-42 for Dunham, and Elijah Haven doing Elijah Haven things. I think he had, was it 8 touchdowns? It was something crazy. I'm going to try to look it up. 8 total touchdowns, 21 for 30, 402 yards passing.
How many yards did he have rushing? I mean, good Lord.
Let's see. I mean, I have to really dig deep.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You're doing enough. You've done enough.
400 yards, 8 touchdowns. Man, what can I say about that? Against a 5A team, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a 5A team. That's in the Dutchtown district. That's in the Baton Rouge district.
Unbelievable, man. He still has another year. He still has another year after this. Unbelievable. One of those generation type of players. Mansfield gets a 28-22 win over Green Oaks. Holy Cross is a team to watch out for, man. They're strong.
White. Now they beat.
What?
They beat E.D. White. Now they beat De La Salle.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, they beat E.D. White last week. Holy Cross. De La Salle was off to a great start this season too. So that was a big win there for Holy Cross. Their quarterback Kobe Faria. Was it Jacoby Faria? Jacoby Faria was at our camp, and he's a really good quarterback, and he's really shown he led a game-winning drive against Edie White to really go ahead and win that football game. So, yeah, I mean, big win. Coach Watney and Holy Cross is remember they had that magical run just a couple of years ago, becoming the number 1 seed in Division I select playoffs. So, good start this season for the Tigers, trying to say, hey, they belong in the Catholic League this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Delcom gets a 53-7 win over Bertram's Academy of Sacred Heart. How about Lake Charles Prep and Barb 60, definitely 65.
That's a basketball score.
And I don't think that's the craziest part about the game as a score. I gotta go back and look of how this game came to be. So this is insane, Alex. They were down 25 points. Lake Charles Prep was. Barb was up by 25 points, and they came back and won this game.
Is the Ravens Bills game?
Yeah.
No. Also, like a 25-point comeback. No. You're telling me they went on a 30-0 run? No. This is a basketball game. They played the wrong sport. This is the wrong box score. I refuse to believe. The
halftime score: Barb 51, Lake Charles Prep 26. That was a halftime score on this Thursday night.
Barb scored 44 points in the second half.
Yep. 44 points in the second half.
Oh, man.
Crazy stuff. Only on Thursday. We got wild and wacky with Sandball.
Only on Thursday.
That Cecilia game, Lake Charles Prep. I mean, a lot of weird stuff happening. Let's see. HL Bourgeois, 29-26 win over Assumption. How about that? Over Union Parish. 7-0. Oh, my goodness.
Playing up, admittedly, but ouch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alex Fondo had himself a big day. Big game. Union Parish. Man. Oh, so yeah, 9 catches. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Oh, I think that might be week 1. I knew he had a great game. But, yeah, him and Carson Sellers have really, really connected with each other offensively. The defense pitching a shutout. Yeah, I mean, this is a scary team. I know everybody talks about JT Lindsay. You have to replace him, but this team is just as good. And, you know, they're going to watch this year. Union Parish, I mean, that's you don't see that often from Coach Spad for a team to lose like that. 57. Oh man, that was definitely a shock. Not in the result, but just a shocker with the score by far. So 57-0 win for Ash. Definitely one of the biggest statements this week. Lafayette Renaissance gets a 48-6 win over Abbeville. Riverdale gets a 42-0 win over Haynes Academy. And then these are some of the I think this is about it. We're going to also wrap up the show. I'm going to try to see if we can get the interview with Coach Standiford here. Talking about, we usually get about 4 coaches talking. So we're going to wrap it up with a 4th coach talking. We'll see how this works as I'm pulling this video up. But Matt Standiford talking about, which was a crazy game. Got a chance to talk to him after the game. 41-38. It was a back and forth game by both teams. I think basically there was one punt. I think between both teams, it was insane, back and forth.
Would it be easier, just from like a camera perspective, if I went ahead and got off now for you to try to stream it? I don't know if it would make a difference or not. But
we're going to try this out. So that's a good thing about this. So we're going to try this out and see what happens. To see. Okay, so the browser's having trouble sharing your video. So
You could also.
okay.
You could also.
There you go.
Oh,
No, I thought I had it. But.
yeah. I was about to say I don't see anything. You could also just like add. Although they'll require you to render the video. You don't have to render it to our video. I would say you could just append the video afterwards to YouTube or whatever. But
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I thought we had the video pop up, but the interview will.
I guess we. Yeah, the interview is just on YouTube. We could just say, "Hey, go watch that." In one of the directions of, I don't know.
So if you want to hear Coach Sanford talk about the win, go on YouTube. We'll also have all the highlights from that game as well. I might try to see if I can actually even try get that let's see. Delete this. I might try to at least get the game-winning touchdown for y'all guys and try add that. Let's see. Share screen. Let's see. You gotta love it live at 2:00 in the morning to finish this. Okay, here we go. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
See my Twitter feed?
Yep.
Okay, so this was the touchdown here. 38 seconds left. Okay, play it.
Wow. Yeah.
And 4 down.
What a gutty throw to make on 4th down, by the way.
He was making plays like this all game long. It shows you what kind of.
But like, how many yards to go was it? It was 4th and what?
Wait, what was that?
It was 4th and what? How many yards to go?
Oh, it was like they had a couple penalties and there was a sack involved, like on 2nd down. This was probably like 4th and goal from like around the 15. You know.
So it was 4th and goal.
Yeah, it was 4th and goal because they got a 1st down, 1st and goal. They had a couple penalties. It was a sack. It looked
so
like
that was the game.
Oh yeah, it was 35 seconds left. Like if Karen Crow gets a stop, game is over. Karen Crow wins. I mean, you see that
unbelievable. Yeah.
35 seconds. Like that was going to be for the game, and it looked like it felt like this was a Karen Crow type of night. I mean, the entire just the atmosphere, how it felt. Karen Crow came storming back. They were pumped going to the locker room. They kept bowing back. It kind of felt like what Franklinton had to deal with Joel Sumner that game last year. I mean, it just kept on responding. You thought it was going to be similar to that, but it wasn't. But big win there for LCA, and they're for real. I mean, Braylon Walker is so fun to watch, and you can go look at all the highlights. He's so fun to watch. I mean, I definitely recommend it. That'll be up in the morning. So basically, final thoughts here. I know we're past 2:00, so we're going to try to wrap this up. I do have a note that I want to talk about, but before I do have that note, Alex, just what your final thoughts here as we wrap up Ballin In Da Boot Week 2 edition.
No, man, another good week. Another good week of football. And yeah, excited to see how the season plays out. We're already having some really interesting results, really interesting games, and some new stars that we've already talked about kind of shining. So yeah, excited to see where things go.
Yeah, I want to make a note of this as we wrap up the show. As Jared Rose likes to say, Louisiana versus all y'all. Well, it was indeed Louisiana versus all y'all tonight. Louisiana schools went 8-0 against.
Yeah, I didn't see a loss.
Yeah, so
didn't see a loss.
It went 8-0 tonight. So if there was my biggest takeaway from week 2, it had to been Louisiana dominating, flexing on all the other teams out of state. That's why we say balling in the boot, because we got a bunch of teams balling in the boot. That is for sure. That's my biggest takeaway. Obviously, big wins tonight. The LCA game really stood out. I mean, the Ash score against Union Parish. I mean, that's crazy. A lot of big time scores. The San Juan game, a lot of stuff going on. And the car, obviously, getting a win over American Heritage. But that overall, Louisiana being 8-0 against Iowa State teams really stood out. So we want to appreciate Coach Hudson Fuller from Catholic High coming on the show. Coach Tramon Douglas coming on the show as well to talk about Woodlawn, his first win. Coach Tyler Pierce coming on. Justin Tyler Pierce coming on to talk about Breaux Bridge. Overall, great show. Thank y'all so much for watching and sharing. And, everyone make sure this grows each and every week. And a great show, Alex, and looking forward to another great one in week 3. All right, guys, have yourself a good night. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, where actually we'll start the nominations for Gridiron Football Week 2 Player of the Week as well. So make sure to get your nominations in, fans. Voting, well, I guess nominations will close on Monday. We'll release the final candidates on Monday afternoon. For Alex Allison, I'm Jace LeJeune. Have yourself a good night. Enjoy the rest of your football weekend. And we'll be back here next Friday night to recap what will be, I'm sure, another entertaining week of football in Week 3 of Louisiana High School Football. Have yourself a good night, everybody.